just to make me understand that he was the favorite little brother of his 5 sisters, the young master Jia. Deliberately asked the 5 sisters to lock me outside the very day of my return to the family. No matter how much I knocked, they didn't open. But I wasn't going to just take it. I grabbed an axe and started smashing the door without the slightest hesitation. The Lu family, who was watching the scene on the surveillance screens, was completely stunned by my badass move. Without the slightest fear, I walked an axe on my shoulder. Lu Chen, his face distorted with fear, hid behind them. The 5 sisters instinctively protected him. They looked at me with extreme suspicion, their words as harsh as they were venomous. Ku Kichuan, this door is worth 800,000. Can a hillbilly like you afford to pay for it? The first to speak was Lu Yangxin, the eldest sister of Lu Chen. Hey, it's been 18 years. Why didn't you just die outside? What are you even doing here? Chimedin Lu Mengya, the third sister, in a sharp tone, the disgust in her eyes palpable. Just look at yourself. We're ashamed to be seen with you. Added the 5th sister Lu, Yuki, her arms crossed, face full of contempt. If you know what's good for you, you'll go crawl into the room we prepared for you and never come out again to embarrass us. My gaze locked onto Lu Yangxin. This woman who in my past life had taken the knife from the hand of Lu Chento, cut open my abdomen with her own hands. Frightened by my murderous glare, Lu Yangxin instinctively took a step back, turned to the housekeeper next to us and said, "Auntie, take me to my room." Aunt Wu didn't budge, looking at me with disgust. "You country bumpkin. Why are you giving me orders? Damn, this bitch mistreated me more than enough in my past life. Today I'm going to start with her." I approached her slowly, grabbed the tied up hair of Aunt Wu and yanked it with a sharp pull. Aunt Wu collapsed onto the floor. Screaming in pain, I dragged her by the hair right past the Lu siblings. I threw out, "I'm going up to choose my room. I want the biggest one." My words turned the Lu family pale. Lu Yu immediately snapped back. "The biggest room belongs to Lu Chen. Who do you think you are, wanting the biggest room?" I didn't slow down, completely ignoring Lu Yu's words, and kept dragging Aunt Wu up the stairs. I went hard, intentionally making her slam from left to right. With her back on fire, Aunt Wu couldn't help but beg, "Young master, let me go. I'll take you to the room. I'll take you there." In an instant, I was already on the 2nd floor, headed towards the right. Lu Chen's 5 sisters couldn't take it anymore. They all rushed upstairs behind me. And that's when they saw me, standing right in front of their precious little brother's door, brandishing that terrifying fire axe. "Cookie Chuan, how dare you?" screamed the eldest Lu Yangxin, but her voice trembled ever so slightly. "Cookie Chuan, if you dare swing that axe, you're getting the hell out of the Lu house. You're done. I walked in, dragging Aunt Wu, who was pale as a sheet. I stepped over the smashed door and entered. Behind me, Lu Chen's fist clenched instantly, his gaze filled with barely hidden hatred. "This is my room now." I let go of housekeeper Wu, tossing her to the side like a piece of trash. Lu Chen took a deep breath, suppressing, with all his might, the rage and panic rising inside him. Lu Chen tugged on the sleeve of his eldest sister, Lu Yangxin, and murmured, "Big sister, let it go. Big brother has suffered so much outside. I's the real young master of the Lu family. All of this belonged to him by right. After all, I might have grown up with you, but deep down, I don't share the same blood as the Lus. As long as I can stay in the Lu family with you, my sisters, I'm already more than satisfied. Besides, if this room pleases Big brother, then let's leave it to him as planned." His fake modesty tactic, full of subtle manipulation, instantly ignited his sisters' anger and their pity for him. "Lu Chen, don't worry." Lu Yangxin shielded him, behind her, declaring in a firm tone, "Your big sister won't let him take your room. Today, he's only good for sleeping in the storage room." Lu Mengya, while speaking, was ready to storm in. "I, your third sister, will make him get the hell out of your room right now." As soon as the Lu sisters entered, they saw me staring back at them with a defiant look. On the pristine white imported cashmere carpet, I had left a trail of muddy footprints from my shoes. Lu Chen spoke up, his voice full of grievance but also full of caution. "Big brother, this carpet is something the third sister specially brought back for me from abroad. It's a limited edition." He didn't finish his sentence. No need to finish those words, the third sister exploded. "Gu Qichuan, in my entire life, I've never seen anyone as poorly raised as you." Lu Mengya pointed her finger at me, screaming, "This is Lu Chen's room. Get the hell out on your own, or do we need to help you?" This kind of scene had happened countless times in my past life. I was so used to it that it almost made me want to laugh. I spread my hands and said with a sneer, "This room, I'm taking it. Just try and kick me out." Such a blatant provocation completely ignited the sisters' fury. The gaze of the eldest sister Lu Yangxin hardened. She was about to step forward to throw me out herself when Lu Chen caught her quickly by the hand. In a fake, heartbroken voice, he said, "Big sister, let it go. Yes, this room belonged to Big brother anyway. He's the real young master of the Lu family. Oh, don't blame him. I'm the one who should leave." While saying this, he took 2 steps toward me and said in a soft voice, "Big brother, don't be angry. The sisters only do this because they worry about me." This kind of sweet-talking, manipulative speech, in my past life I had heard it way too much. It disgusted me to the highest degree. This time, I didn't want to hear another single word. I lunged forward and unleashed a slap that landed heavily on the fake Innocent face of Lu Chen holding his cheek, which had instantly turned red and swollen, looked at me with incredulity. Tears welled up in his eyes on cue, flowing down in big drops. He looked like he had suffered the worst injustice in the world. Lu Chen. Several worried voices rang out at the same time. My 5 sisters rushed toward him, glaring at me with intense rage, as if I had committed the most heinous of crimes. Lu Yangxin in particular couldn't contain her anger. Her perfectly manicured hand raised and came swinging toward my face, her sharp nails cutting through the air. My gaze turned icy, my arm like a steel vice, rose and blocked her wrist with surgical precision. My other hand, without any mercy, delivered a backhand slap to her cold and arrogant cheek. At the same time, my legs weren't staying idle either. With a side kick, I struck her stomach beneath her luxury suit. With a muffled cry of pain, she staggered backward, bumping into the second sister, Lucy, who was standing behind her. Both of them fell heavily and ungracefully to the floor. The rest of the Lu family was completely stunned, shocked. Lu Chen lifted his head and glared straight at me, his voice broken with grief. Big brother, how could you attack our eldest sister and our second sister? If you're mad at me, vent your anger on me. Sick of his absolute nonsense. I stepped forward quickly and grabbed Lu Chen by the throat. I lifted him up until his feet no longer touched the floor anymore, and with my other hand, I rained down slaps. Smack, 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 smack. 2 more violent slaps. A wave of satisfaction that I hadn't felt in a long time washes over me. The face of Lu Chen is distorted with terror. He struggles in vain like a chicken being strangled. Lu Chen, let him go. Several piercing screams ring out. The other sisters attack me at the same time. The third one, Lu Mengya, even grabs a decorative crystal vase that was nearby. She hurls it violently toward my head. I lean my body back slightly, release my grip, and pull Lu Chen right in front of me. By the time Lu Mengya sees clearly who is in front of her, that it's her beloved little brother, it's already too late to hold back her throw. Crash the crystal. Ice smashes dead on against Lu Chen's head. Barg, crash. A piercing cry of pain rings out. I let go of him at the perfect moment and take a step back. I watch Lu Chen hold his head fresh, blood oozing from between his fingers. A cold smile appears on my face. Wow looks like a flower blooming on his head. My tone is casual. Wow, yeah, it's beautiful, yeah. Lu Chen holds his head, feeling the blood streaming down his face, filled with absolute terror. Blood, yeah, sisters, there's blood. My face, am I going to be disfigured? Lu Yangxin is also shocked by this unexpected turn of events, forgetting her own pain. She gets up in a hurry. Lu Chen, your sister didn't do it on purpose. Go quickly and get the first aid kit, shouts Lucy. She's a doctor, so she stays relatively calm. She rushes to the side of Lu Chen to examine his injury. She tries to reassure him. Lu Chen, don't be afraid, your second sister is here, everything's fine. It's just a superficial wound. The first aid kit is quickly brought over. Lucy carefully disinfects Lu Chen's wound. While she's applying the bandage, the eldest sister, Lu Yangxin, looks up at me, the fury in her eyes obvious. She grinds her teeth, pronouncing my name, Gu Qichuan. You're barely back and Lu Xin is injured because of you. How can you be so cruel? If you have any common sense left, get the hell out of the Lu house. Burst out laughing, a tone full of sarcasm. Lu Yangxin, was it really me who hurt Lu Chen? Wasn't it your very dear little sister who struck him with her own hands using that vase? Everyone saw it clearly. I put my hand over my mouth to muffle a laugh. My gesture might be a bit theatrical, but the jubilation I feel is very real. Ah, wow, this dog-eat-dog show. Oh, oops, sisters killing each other show. It's truly fascinating. Lu Yangxin's face instantly became as disgusted as if she had just eaten crap. She is left speechless, unable to reply. To the side, the fifth sister Lu Yuk approaches furiously, her face twisted with rage. No, what do you mean it's not your fault? If you hadn't dodged earlier, I would have never hit Lu Chen. You're the one who hurt Lu Chen. You're a real jinx. Listen to this. This brain-dead logic is the exact same as in my past life. I raise my hand to slap Lu Yuk, who has already witnessed this kind of treatment. She dodges with an instinctive movement of her head. I thought you were all idiots, incapable of dodging when someone hits you. So basically, you're supposed to dodge when someone hits you. 1, 2, I grab her by the collar, pulling her toward me. My voice becoming lower, but each word echoes clearly in her ear. Yeah, Lu Yue, my move earlier was just to see if you would dodge a hit, if I really wanted to strike you. Do you honestly think you could avoid me? Without giving her time to react, I deal her 3 resounding slaps, 1 on each side. The sound snaps loud and clear. Hello, Gu Qichuan. What are you doing now? A familiar voice rings out at the entrance. I look up. Perfect, they are all back. My father in name, Lu Shen, and my stepmother, who never endured me, Lan Yuron, stands on the threshold. Her face pale, she observes the scene. The family is finally all together. The little game can officially begin. The mother. Lan saw her own daughter get struck by me. Anger rises in her all at once, impossible to contain. Then she glances at Lu Chen, who is standing nearby, his face covered in blood. Fury consumes her. She storms in, her face distorted with rage, and screams, "Let go of my daughter." Seeing their faces split between shock and anger, I release Lu Yuk, lean over, take a wet wipe from the side. Start to wipe my fingers without any rush, as if I had just touched something filthy. Seeing her daughter's face, already completely swollen, Lan's heart tightens. She glares straight at me, her words cruel and venomous. If I had known you were so evil, I would have smothered you at birth. She is your sister. Damn, how dare you raise your hand against her? If you still want to be part of the Lu family, you better behave yourself. When I tell you to stand, you stand, damn. And if I tell you to kneel, you kneel. I raise an eyebrow, replying with a detached air, since Madame Lu hates me so much, and I'll just leave. Anyway, I didn't care particularly about being part of this family. The heart of Lu Chen leaps with joy. The best thing would be for you to never set foot here again. The Lu family only needs one young master. That's me, Lan's mother. Is about to yell at me to get lost, but the father Lu, next to her, holds her back. Gukichuan, don't say things like that in the heat of the moment. You are our son. Her mother spoke without thinking. It's only because she was worried. Don't pay attention to it. Stay silent without adding another word. After all, my goal isn't to actually leave the Lu family. This is my battlefield, and I won't leave until the members of the Lu family have paid for their actions. Plus, this confirms one thing to me: the family really needs me. Lan's mother speaks up. Now, since you are in the Lu family, you must follow our rules. Every single one of your words, every single one of your actions represents our family. Such vulgar behavior is unworthy of the young master of the Lu family. You're embarrassing us to the outside world. We will say you are our adopted son today. Lu Chen will remain the official young master of the Lu family. I raise an eyebrow and my gaze turns toward Lu Chen, who has stayed silent. My father in name is the real holder of power in this family. Mr. Lu. I changed how I called him, my tone distant. Do you also think everything is my fault? No. Lu Chen's face darkens, his gaze sweeping over us. Chen, his daughters, and me. He finally locks his eyes onto my face with a scrutinizing look, the barely noticeable hint of calculation. He hadn't even spoken yet when Lan Yuran hurried to insult me. If I had known you were such a piece of trash, we should have never brought you back. You're nothing but a curse. Barely arrived and you're already causing trouble in this house. That's enough. Lu Chen finally throws out, interrupting Lan Yuran's flood of insults. He takes a deep breath and looks at me, trying to soften his tone, but his voice remains just as condescending. Kukichuan, didn't the butler who brought you back explain the situation to you clearly? Even if you are my biological son, Lu Chen has lived with us for so many years. In our hearts, he has been part of the family for a long time. I hope you can get along peacefully. He paused, his tone becoming threatening. Now that you are back with the Lus, you must respect our rules. Your behavior just earlier was simply unacceptable. Apologize to your mother, your sisters, and to Lu Chen. I thought I just heard the best joke of the year. Excuse me, mister. But haven't you made a mistake? I took a step forward, staring straight into his eyes. Since I crossed the threshold of this house, your wife, your daughters, and this imposter who stole my place, have they shown me even a single ounce of respect? No. You can lock me out of the door. Are those your rules? Making me sleep in a storage room. Are those your rules? You can yell at me to get lost nonstop. Are those your rules? Smashing a vase on my head. Is that the rule of your Lu family? My voice became colder and colder with every sentence, and louder and louder. Is that so? Yeah, if those are your rules, then I'm sorry. But I Kichuan. Don't recognize them. Silently threw the wet wipe. I was holding onto the floor, sweeping my gaze across every person present. My gaze finally landed on Lu Shan. Since your family doesn't want me, then we might as well not recognize this family bond. I'm leaving, that's it. With that, I turned on my heels, ready to walk away. Lu Chen's heart leaped with joy. He hoped for only one thing, for me to disappear right on the spot. Lan Yuran almost even screamed, "Get out." "Stop right there," ordered Lu Shan in a loud voice. His expression changed several times. I didn't give a damn about the life or death of this son who fell from the sky, but he cared about the Ji family, the imperial capital that I could represent. It was the only way for the Lu family to climb the social ladder, the only stepping stone to enter the elite circle of the capital. He absolutely couldn't let me leave. Gu Qichuan, never repeat such words again in the heat of the moment. Here you are, my son, and here is your home. Lu Chen's tune brooked no argument. Your mother and sisters were worried about Lu Chen. That's why they spoke without thinking. Don't pay attention to it. I stopped, but without turning around. But I didn't keep moving toward the exit either. Yeah, of course, I wasn't really going to leave. This place is my battlefield. Yeah, how could I walk away? Before making this so-called family pay the price they deserve. Yeah, the greed of Lu Chen for the connections. The imperial capital is my best shield. Seeing that I was no longer leaving, Lu Chen heaved a sigh of relief, then turned toward Lan Yuran and his daughters, his tone threatening. I will repeat this one last time. Kokichuan is my biological son. Hai is your own brother. Dad, if one of you dares to shut the door in his face again, or tell him to get lost, don't blame me for being ruthless. Dad fucked Lu Yangxin, her hand on her still aching cheek, cried out with resentment. Shut up, Lu Shan shot her a dark glare. Just look at yourselves. A family that screams and squabbles nonstop. Do you think that paints a good picture? Finally, he turned toward me, his tone softened. Ku Qichuan, for your room, we will do as you said. Lu Xin, you move into the guest room. Next door. Lu Chen looked at Lu Chen in disbelief. tears instantly welling up in his eyes. His body swayed and his sisters also started to protest. Dad, Lu Chen has trouble sleeping in a new bed. Dad, you can't do this. Lu Chen has lived in this room for more than 10 years. Dad, Lu Chen massaged his temples annoyed. That's enough. The decision is made and that's final. Cookie Chuan has barely just returned. He needs to get used to a lot of things. You his big sisters, you must be more accommodating with him. Lu Xin, be a bit more reasonable. Lu Xin lowered his head, hiding the immense hatred surging in his eyes. His nails dug deep into his palms. His voice was choked with sobs, but he replied in a fake submissive tone. Yes, Dad, I understand. Yes, Dad. My big brother likes it. Then I'll let him have it. I sneered internally. But my face remained emotionless. My goal for today was achieved. I'd reclaimed the room and established my dominance. No need to push them any further. I looked at Lu Shan and took the opportunity to drop my next demand. Mr. Lu, since I'm occupying my little brother's room now, wouldn't it be only fair that the belongings inside it go back to their original owner? These worn out furniture pieces, these outdated clothes, they aren't worthy of the young master of the Lu family. Right. If word got out, the entire Lu family would lose face. At that moment, Lu Shan only wanted to appease me. So with a grand wave of his hand, he said, tomorrow your mother will take you to buy new stuff. We'll replace everything. The son of Lu Chan, meaning me, obviously must have the absolute best. Lan Yuran felt a sting in her heart. The furniture in this room were all luxury brands, imported at a considerable value, and he wanted to change everything on a whim. But facing the absolute look from Lu Chan, she had no choice but to swallow her discontent. Today I won this round hands down. That evening, lying on the big plush bed that once belonged to Lu Chen, I could still smell the sickening scent that was his. Whatever. Soon this place will become entirely my territory. A new game awaits you tomorrow, XOXO. The night passed without any dreams. The next morning, I walked downstairs, fresh and ready. The dining room was bathed in a harmonious atmosphere. Lu was sitting in the seat of honor reading the newspaper. Lan Yuran was tenderly placing a steamed shrimp dumpling onto Lu Chen's plate. The sisters were chatting and laughing around the table. Lu Chen was also wearing a slight perfect smile, as if nothing that happened the day before had ever occurred. Upon seeing me come down, laughter in the dining room abruptly stopped, and the atmosphere instantly became heavy. Lu Chen put down his chopsticks, a smile immediately appearing on his face. In a clear voice, he said, Good morning, big brother. Come quickly and have a breakfast. Then turning toward the kitchen, he called out, Aunt Wu, at another setting. Your brother is coming down for breakfast. Always so considerate, always so perceptive. I glanced at the table, and as expected, there was no place for me. In my past life, I would have just stood there, anxiously waiting for someone to give me a seat, like a servant, like a beggar who had stumbled into the wrong feast, uncomfortable and pathetic. Then, when it was time for me to sit, one of my sisters would have secretly pulled my chair away, so that I would fall backward and become everyone's laughingstock. I walked straight up to them under the eager gaze of the whole gathering. I grabbed Lu Chen by the collar and lifted him from his seat. Lu Chen, caught completely off guard, let out a cry of surprise. Cookie Chuan, what do you think you're doing? Lu Chen. My sisters immediately saw red and all jumped up at once. I ignored them and pushed Lu Chen back with a nonchalant gesture. The push wasn't hard, but it was enough to make him stumble and almost fall. Then I calmly sat in his place and took the utensils he was using. I furrowed my brows with disgust and tossed them to the side. When there isn't enough room at the table, the extra person should have the decency to stay standing. I took a clean pair of chopsticks, my tone neutral as if I were stating an obvious fact. I looked at Lu Shan, whose face was pale, and with a slight smile, Mr. Lu, am I right, who is the extra one in this family? I articulated these last words very distinctly. My gaze turned in a meaningful way toward Lu Chen, who had turned white as a sheet. The extra person is of course this fake young master. Up there, Lu Chen clenched his fist, his entire body trembling slightly. Humiliation and resentment threatened to consume him. Before Lu Shan could even say a word, my sisters exploded, Cookie Chuan, why do you always pick on Lu Chen? The eldest, Lu Yangxin, was pale with anger. Dad, look at him. This is the person you brought back. Not only does he not show the slightest gratitude, but on top of that, he attacks Lu Chen with more and more virulence. Lu Shan slammed the newspaper he held in his hand heavily onto the table. I will repeat this once and for all. Cookie Chuan is my son. I is your own brother. He looked at the son he had chosen since his earliest childhood, who looked so hurt and so helpless. His heart tightened, but at the thought of the Ji family of the capital, this pity quickly dissipated. The lure of profit took over. He shot a furious glare at Lan Yuran. What kind of mother are you? He said. Yeah, you aren't even capable of arranging a simple seat at the table. Can't you see that the servants are slacking off on their work? Lan felt like she was dying of injustice. It's just a seat. After all, did it need to be made into a whole big deal? Yeah. But seeing the dark face of Lu Shan, she didn't dare to talk back. Lu Shan then turned toward Lu Yangxin, who was fuming. You are the eldest, behave like one. Cookie Chuan is your brother. In the future, watch your words. Faced with Lu Chan's outburst, a dead silence fell over the dining room. Standing there, Lu Chen felt an icy shiver run down his spine, spreading through his whole body. The protection that Lu Shan was granting to the other, to him made his blood run cold. The words own brother were like daggers planted in his heart. So not sharing his blood is all that matters. 10 years of affection, so fragile. He couldn't hold back anymore and started crying while trying to go upstairs. Stay right there, I called out to him. The show is just getting started. How could the main character be missing? I look at Lushan, an expectant look conveniently appearing on my face. Dad, since I'm back in the Lu family, shouldn't we host a banquet to announce to everyone that your biological son Lu Chan's own is back? Is back. I really emphasized the words biological son. To achieve my goal, I didn't mind calling him Dad for the time being. A single sentence was enough to make everyone's expression in the dining room change drastically once again. Almost all eyes unconsciously turned toward Lu Chen. Lu Chen bit his lips, the hatred in his heart frantically like a poisonous vine. But he couldn't explode. He had to hold back. He had to make a superhuman effort to control his expression before lifting his head and forcing a pale and fragile smile. Dad, my brother is right. Since he's back, the banquet should of course take place. That way he can feel just how much our family cares about him. I turned my head to look at him, my gaze heavy with undisguised provocation. And while we're at it, we should also tell everyone that Lu Chen is only the adopted son. The provocation in my eyes was too intense. Lu Chen could barely contain his emotions. The corner of his lips twitched, and his eyes turned red in an instant as he said, Brother, you don't seem to like me very much. If you're still angry about what happened yesterday, I apologize to you. He's clever. He immediately changed the subject, not reacting to the mention of adopted son. After that, all he had to do was look sorry. And his sisters would naturally step up to the front to defend him. The first to react was unsurprisingly Lu Yangxin. Go Qichuan, do you have to be so aggressive? Lu Yangxin glared at me. When you do something, can't you think about Lu Chen's feelings? Ties don't matter to us. He will always be my brother. I didn't show her any respect. In a biting tone, I replied, and why should I care about his feelings? It's thanks to me that he enjoyed 18 years of luxury and wealth. Dad, shouldn't he be grateful to me for that? And as for you, Lu Yangxin, when you do something, can't you stop thinking only about Lu Chen's feelings? Dad said that I am your real brother. Being disgusting is something anyone can do, right? Yeah. I looked at Lushan, his face had already darkened. If I can't claim my status as the young master of the Lu family upon returning to this family, then I don't see the point of recognizing it. My position was firm. I didn't ask you to kick Lu Chen out. That is already my biggest concession. After all, if he leaves, how could I have fun torturing him on a slow burn? Everyone else looked at Lu Chen. Dad, that would be too hard on Lu Chen, Dad. We can just tell everyone that both of them are your biological sons. Let's just say Mom had twins back then, Dad. I stood up, the discontent in my eyes about to overflow. Dad. Biological is biological and adopted is adopted, Dad. We shouldn't mix everything up. Twins? Is he even worthy? Thinking about the big families of the capital, Lu Khan gave in once again. Gu Qichuan is the legitimate young master of our Lu family. The banquet will take place as planned, and Gu Qichuan's identity will be officially announced there. And regarding the identity of this adopted son, Lu Chan's voice was firm, brook no argument. I looked at Lu Chen with a provocative air, and this time he truly couldn't hold back anymore. He ran up the stairs crying. His sisters immediately wanted to follow him. Sit down and eat, everyone, ordered Lu Chen, slamming the table. Although his sisters were heartbroken and worried, they could only sit back down reluctantly. Their gazes devoured me as if they wanted to skin me alive. And through all of this, my face still wore a slight smile, but my eyes betrayed a cold mockery. Do you see clearly through all this? In my past life, my desire for family affection and my inferiority complex had pushed me to endure everything and constantly try to please them. Never dared to demand anything for myself. I didn't say a thing, and Lu Shan closed his eyes to it, letting me suffer all kinds of pain and humiliation. This title of young master of the Lu family, I don't give a damn. But Lu Chen, he deeply cares about it, so I can't let him have it, yeah. Lu Shan didn't want to hurt Lu Chen, but at the same time, he couldn't give up on the value that I represented. Yeah, his hesitation lasted only a second. Lu Chen accepted my request and decided to prepare the recognition banquet. The atmosphere was heavy. Sisters had no appetite. They were just waiting for breakfast to end. Go console their little brother. Meanwhile, at the turn of the hallway on the first floor, Lu Chen heard Lu Chen accept my request. Hatred instantly filled his gaze. He clenched his fists. All those beautiful promises they had made to him. He won't get ahead of you. You will remain the young master of the Lu family. They had clearly said that he was returning as an adopted son. But in less than a day, I lost my room, and I lost my title of young master of the Lu family. I have no home anymore, no family anymore. On my side, I was in an excellent mood. I even ate a bit more than usual. Then I extended my hand toward Lan Yuran and said with a big smile, Mom, give me some money. Today I'm going to buy myself some clothes. Lan Yuran furrowed her brow slightly. She already hated me, and seeing me act this way, she found me even more poorly mannered. But since Lu Chen was there, she didn't dare explode. She had no choice but to reply. In a fake caring tone, Gu Qichuan, there are already plenty of nice clothes in your room. Cut her off. Oh, are you saying I should wear the leftovers of that adopted son Does the young master of the Lu family not deserve to wear new clothes? I am no longer, like in my past life, blindly obeying everything and swallowing every injustice. In this life, I won't tolerate the slightest offense. It's my turn to make others uncomfortable. Lu Shen, seeing Lan Yuron hesitate, grew impatient. Yeah, what a short-sighted vision. I already explained to you who he is. If he allows us to connect with the Ji family of the capital, our Lu family won't just stop at dominating Linlu City. We will also be able to establish ourselves in the capital. He cleared his throat and ordered, Ku Qichuan is a young master of our Lu family. Eyes my son Lu Chan's. Of course, he can't wear old clothes. He didn't grow up by our side. We must compensate him properly. So after breakfast, you will accompany Gu Qichuan to go shopping. Buy him the new shoes of the season. Watches, bags, everything he needs. There's no way we're going to look poor. Even if the Lu family was rich in reality, Liu Chen wasn't that extravagant. If he spends this much solely for the facade that my background represents, nothing ventured, nothing gained. Things have come to this, so mom has no choice but to accept after the multiple warnings from dad, and she had to swallow her discontent. Upstairs, seeing this scene, Liu Chen's heart broke. Just this morning, mom said she wanted to take me out to clear my head, and now she wants to take him to buy clothes instead. And what am I in all this? Years of family affection are worth nothing compared to a simple blood tie. All these years by their side are a huge joke. My sisters even shot me a look full of reproach. If Lu Chen found out about this, he would definitely be very sad. After speaking, Father Lu looked at me as if he saw stacks of bills beckoning him. The expression on his face even softened. Ko Qichuan, if you have any problem at all, tell dad. Today dad will be here to back you up. Buy plenty of clothes today. Tomorrow, you'll go with your mother and your sisters to enroll at the experimental high school of the city. Dad has already arranged everything. Don't put pressure on yourself. It's just a formality to pass the high school exam. The results don't matter. Dad has already planned everything for you. Experimental High School of the city. Speaking of this school, a small smile appears on my lips, a chilly gleam flashes through my gaze. The memories of that place, my past life, are deeply engraved in me. Sitting in Lan Yuron's luxury car, the atmosphere is heavy. Lu Chen came along too, of course under the pretext of helping his big brother choose. During the whole ride, he clung to Lan Yuron's arm, listing funny anecdotes from his childhood. The mother and the son were laughing out loud. They were trying to create an atmosphere of intimacy that I couldn't fit into. In my past life, I might have felt bitterness and envy, but now I just feel like I'm hearing two eyes buzzing in my ears. Seeing that, I remained emotionless. Chen couldn't help but say, Big brother, tell us some anecdotes from your childhood too. We all want to hear you. I glared at him. What do you want to hear? How I was dying of hunger and cold when I was little. How I rolled around in the mud. Or do you prefer to hear how you lived in luxury with the Lus while I was suffering in your place? My words were direct and cruel. The smile on Lu Chen's face froze. Big brother, that's not what I meant. Sorry. His eyes reddened and he waved his hands in denial. He looked like he had suffered the worst injustice in the world. Lan Yuron immediately protected her little one. Lu Chen only had good intentions. Could you not stop being so defensive all the time like a hedgehog? Yeah, watch what you say a bit. My very existence is the original sin. Haven't you ever heard that? Yeah, I said with a sneer. Yeah, so if I don't take it out on him, maybe I should take it out on you. A mother who loses her own son doesn't feel the slightest guilt and spends her time helping this adopted child bully her own son. You really are a wonderful mother. I said, my voice loaded with sarcasm. In ancient times, they used to favor the concubine over the wife. Today, we cherish the adopted and destroy our own blood. Madam Lan, you really are one of a kind. Lan Yuron, red with anger, let some words slip out, but barely on the tip of her lips. She stopped. Dead. She doesn't dare admit that he is not the biological son, because if anyone ever found out, he isn't of Lu blood. Khan would never forgive her. I lock eyes with her, looking aggressive. So what? If you have something to say, spit it out. Seeing her miserable face puts me in a better and better mood. Hard days are just beginning for you, so suffer in silence. The ride went by without a word except for Lu Chen, who tried at times to speak to me with hypocrisy, whom I royally ignored. We arrived at the most luxurious mall in the city, and I didn't hold back. I headed straight for the luxury boutiques. Lan Yuron followed me closely, her hand shaking as she swiped the card, and her face grew more and more distorted. Lu Chen was even more vexed, almost mad with jealousy. This kind of treatment, being able to grab whatever I want without any limits. He had never experienced that in his entire life. To buy something for himself, he always had to watch the mood of Lan Yuron and his sisters, proving himself to be reasonable and thrifty. This can't go on. Mom, I need to do something. I took a deep breath. Wearing a sugary smile, he said to Lan Yuron, Mom, we've been shopping for so long. You must be tired, Mom. Let's go rest somewhere. Lan Yuron, who was heartbroken over the money spent, immediately wanted to jump at the opportunity. But I spoke up first, casting a contemptuous glance at Lu Chen. Nobody asked you to come. If you get tired so fast, you can just get lost. Don't come around ruining the mood. Lu Chen immediately put on a helpless look, his eyes turning red. He said, Big brother, it's not like that. I was just worried about Mom. And besides, that's enough. Lan Yuran's anger went up a notch. Lu Qin is just worried about me, that's all. And anyway, you've already bought so many things. That should be enough by now. I laughed, waving the black card in my hand, which was Lu Chen's supplementary card. Oh, I am the young master of the Lu family after all. Why should it be enough? You owe me an 18-year debt. What's so wrong about me buying a few clothes? My face hardened. Since you are so tired, go back home. Yanyo. Home. For the items I have chosen, I will call Dad to come over and pay. That threat again. The faces of Lan Yuran and Lu Chen instantly collapsed. It was pure and simple blackmail. Of course, Lan Yuran didn't dare leave me alone here. She had no choice but to grit her teeth and keep accompanying me, her face as dark as a stormy sky. I walked into the flagship store of a major luxury brand, trying on clothes as if I were the only one in the world. Seeing Lu Qin looking dejected, Lan Yuran finally felt pity for this son she had raised for 18 years. She gave him a gentle nudge and whispered, Lu Qin, go choose a few clothes for yourself too. Lu Qin first pretended to refuse, then ended up going to pick some clothes with Lan Yuran. Looking in a much better mood, he came out, wearing a new white shirt and twirled around in front of the mirror. He asked Lan Yuran with a smile, Mom, is it nice? Thank you. White Lu Qin absolutely loved white. This shirt made him look even more refined and well-behaved. It's beautiful. Everything looks good on our Lu Shen, said Lan Yuran in a voice full of love. BFF. Let out a sneer at the absolute worst moment. Stepping out of the changing room in turn, I was wearing a black leather biker jacket, perfectly tailored, with a dark red shirt underneath, a wild, untamable look with an impressive aura. The mirror is right there. Can't you see for yourself if it fits you or not? I judged Lu Chen from head to toe in a sharp tone. Look at that childish frame. Your shoulders are way too frail for this. And on top of that, you aren't even tall. With that white shirt, you look like a kid who stole his dad's clothes. Lu Chen's face went instantaneously from white to red, his whole body trembling with humiliation. Big brother, why do you humiliate me like this? His voice broke into a sob. Humiliated? Since when is telling the truth humiliating someone? I walked up to him and dragged him in front of the large mirror, pointing at us in the reflection. In the mirror, one was delicate but a bit frail, the other handsome, tall, and charismatic. The difference was blinding. Compare for yourself. Am I wrong? I let go of him and patted his shoulder, with a force that wasn't exactly light. Little brother, there are some things you just can't force. Like charisma. Lu Xin was so furious he almost fainted on the spot. Lan Yuran pulled Lu Chen behind her and pointed a finger at me, fuming. Guki Chuan, where are your manners in all this? I sneered, my voice drowning hers out. Yeah, lecturing me about manners. Yeah, for the past 18 years did you raise me? Did you teach me anything at all? Yeah, in this world, anyone has the right to lecture me about manners, but certainly not you. Lan Yuran was left completely speechless. Yeah, Lu Chen, why are you crying? No. It was at that exact moment that a girl's high-pitched voice echoed. I looked up. 3 young people dressed in the latest fashion walked in, looking totally arrogant. Niman Yijing and Ouyang Nala. These 3 are classmates and simps of Lu Chen. Their families are all influential. In my past life, they never stopped, helping Lu Chen crush and humiliate me. Of course, I had to run into them. The trio quickly approached. After greeting Lan Yuran, Niman took Lu Chen's hand with a concerned look. Lu Chen, who messed with you? Is it him? Her malicious gaze landed on me. Lu Chen shook his head, forcing a smile that looked even sadder than tears. Niman, nobody messed with me. I'm the one who was clumsy. Yi Jingxi has a fierce attitude. Her mother was the mistress who ousted the legitimate wife, and she inherited that talent for plotting and cruelty. She took a step forward, looking at me mockingly. Wow, what is the world coming to? A simple adopted, one daring to pick on the true young master. This is totally ridiculous. Ouyang Nala chimed in with a fake sweet tone. That's because there are too many people, without the slightest shame, who don't know their place. The squad burst into laughter, the contempt in their eyes barely hidden. Lu Xine was celebrating internally. He pretended to be panicked while pushing them toward the exit. Niman, you guys should leave first, okay? I'm begging you, thank you. This only convinced Niman and the others that Lu Chen was getting bullied, and their indignation grew. He wanted this to end with his dignity intact, but I wasn't going to let him off that easy. Reached the door in a few steps and blocked their path. Why so rushed? Since you are my little brother's friends. As his big brother, I ought to get to know you. I threw out in a nonchalant tone full of resentment. Niman and the others already hated my guts. Seeing me block their way made them even more furious. Yeah, King snapped, a hillbilly who just came back from the countryside. Wants to get to know us. Ask yourself first if you're even worthy. Niman, looking even more arrogant, added, no need to get to know us. You would just need to remember your place and who the true young master of the Lu family is. As an adopted son, don't you dare covet what doesn't belong to you. He took a step forward, trying to look me straight in the eyes. But the height difference, unfortunately completely, nerfed his confidence. We are Lu Chen's friends. We will never let him get bullied by a nobody. We will always be here to back Lu Chen up, declared Ouyang Nala, puffing out her chest. Xin was shaking like a leaf. I didn't feel like wasting any more time on them. My gaze landed on Lu Chen and my voice echoed clearly in everyone's ears. Lu Chen, as an adopted son, you should really take the advice that your friends just gave you. An adopted son should not covet what doesn't belong to him. Remember well who the true grand young master of the Lu family is. The sentence had the effect of a thunderclap. Lu Chen turned pale, while Nieman and the others were left speechless. Kuki Chuan, screamed Lan Yuran, mad with rage. Lu Chen could barely stand up. I admired the spectacle of their distorted faces. Then I pulled out my phone to call Lu Shan directly. I turned on the speakerphone. Dad, my voice was tinged with a mix of sadness and anger. You heard what they just said, right? Yeah, you, your daughters, your wife. Now all the friends of your adopted son, none of them recognize my status. They all defend Lu Chen. I can't stay a single second longer in this house. I summarized the situation in a few words. Then I hung up. Lu Shan's phone immediately rang in Lan Yuran's hand. Even through the handset, you could hear his roars of rage. Finally, under the categorical order of Lu Shan, Lan Yuran and Lu Chen were forced to apologize right in front of Ni Man and her two friends. They also had to reaffirm my status as the grand young master of the Lu family. Niman and her friends turned pale. The look they gave Lu Chen was, for the first time, filled with a mixture of confusion and distrust. Lu Chen, on his part, felt unprecedented shame and humiliation. So the image he had carefully built with so much effort had just been completely destroyed by me today. Satisfied, I contemplated the scene. I took the clothes I had chosen and told the clerk, have them delivered to the Lu residence. Then, under a rain of hateful, shocked, and perplexed looks, walked away with casual indifference, leaving the shopping mall. A discreet but imposing black sedan pulled up in front of me. The window rolled down, revealing a face of breathtaking beauty, with a touch of wildness. My best friend and also the only person to know the secret of my rebirth, Mu Wanning. She flashed a smile. Kichuan, get in. Oh, I'm taking you to see a good show. I opened the door and got in. The car started moving slowly. Through the window, I saw Lu Chen, Lan Yuran, as well as Niman and her crew with dark faces, standing right in front of the mall entrance. It was at that exact moment that a few figures surged out from the crowd, like ghosts. They held unidentified objects in their hands and, with lightning speed, they threw themselves at Lu Chen and the others. A sharp and terrified scream suddenly echoed through the entire shopping district. This indescribable stench spread out. Chin Lan Yuron, Nieman, Iking O Yang Nala, as well as the Lu sisters, Lu Yangxin and Lu Manjiao, who had joined them later. Nobody was spared. Their entire bodies were sprayed with filth. Their hair, their cheeks, and their expensive clothes were all covered in disgusting stains. The crowd around them immediately burst into exclamations, people quickly backing away, pulling out their phones to film. Inside the car, Wanning handed me a cup of milk tea with a foxy smile. So, do you like this welcome gift? Yeah. I looked out the window at this inky chaos, a scene of absolute distress. The corners of my lips slowly stretched into a chilly, satisfied smile. Well played. This is only the beginning. Lu Chen, my dear sisters, I will take back everything you owe me, one by one with interest. Experimental high school, hello, see you tomorrow. The car drove quietly on the way back to the Lu residence. Mu Wanning handed me a cup of warm milk tea. She was the one who made it, and the taste was, as always, exceptional. The forum of Kichuan's campus and a few popular local forums. Kichuan's campus and a few popular local forums are already handled. High-definition close-up shots and censored from multiple angles. I took a sip of the milk tea. The sweet and silky flavor dissipated the bit of annoyance I had felt at the shopping mall. Pretty efficient. That's exactly the kind of method you have to use against that type of person. Me, Wanting leaned back nonchalantly against the seat, but her gaze was sharp. So, how does it feel for them to taste what's called social death? Watch the city landscape speeding past the window. My gaze was icy. In my past life, Lu Chen and his girl squad, as well as my dear sisters, never stopped spreading rumors about me on the campus forum and on social media to completely ruin my reputation. In this life, I am simply giving them a taste of their own medicine. It was already 10 o'clock at night when I returned to the Lu villa. Walking in, I saw Lu Shan sitting on the living room sofa, looking vexed. As for Lan Yuran, Lu Chen, and the other sisters, they were nowhere to be found. They must be hiding in their rooms, frenetically washing themselves. After all, that stench is stubborn. Kukichuan, you finally deigned to return. Kukan appeared relieved upon seeing me, but his tone was full of reproach. Why is your phone unreachable? You don't even come home for dinner. What's the meaning of this? I pulled out my phone and tapped it nonchalantly. The screen stayed black. Oh, dead battery, I replied, just for form's sake. And I deliberately sniffed while furrowing my brows. What is that smell? No, it smells kinda bad. Oh, my gaze swept across the empty living room. I suddenly looked like I understood. Ah, by the way, Dad, no. Dad, did you have dinner with them tonight? Khan paused for a moment. Yes, I ate. Why, I immediately put on an admiring expression while giving a thumbs up. Impressive. Dad, I truly admire you, thank you. With the stench she was giving off, how could you swallow anything at all? Just imagining the scene makes me feel sick. Lu Chan's face took on a strange expression. His Adam's apple moved involuntarily. He hadn't noticed anything unusual during dinner, but after what I had just said, his stomach suddenly started to churn. What are you talking about? He said, a bit annoyed. That's nonsense. Raise an eyebrow and pull out my phone. Even if it has no battery, that doesn't stop me from describing the scene. Dad, you haven't seen it? It went totally viral on the internet. HD videos, close-up photos, Luchin, Lan, Yuron, and then my dear sisters, as well as Niman's squad. They got sprayed with feces in public, right in front of the shopping mall. It was brutal. The netizens are even saying they could smell the stench right through the screen. TSK, and to rub salt in the wound, I add. Didn't Lu Chin think he was some kind of prince, charming the campus idol? Well, look what happens. He went from idol to poop man. And then Niman and her crew, who always look down on everyone. Now they are the laughing stock of the entire city. I really wonder how they will dare to show their faces at school tomorrow. Each of my words is like a poison dagger that plants itself not only in the heart of Lu, Chen, and the others who are listening in secret, but also turns Lu Shan's face pale. This matter stains the Lu family's honor. That's enough. You, thundered Lu Sheng, in a loud voice, massaging his temples in annoyance. I will take care of it. And you in the future avoid provoking them. Me provoking them, I sneer. Dad, you've got it wrong, no. They are the ones hounding me like rabid dogs? Today, I just quietly went to buy some clothes, yeah? They are the ones who looked for trouble and are paying the price now. What does that have to do with me? I don't have the energy to argue with him any longer. Turn around and head upstairs. Reaching the first floor landing, I run into Lu Chen, who just got out of the shower, his hair still soaking wet. Eyes pale, his eyes red and puffy. Seeing me, his body stiffens. Instinctively, an undeniable gleam of hatred flashing through his gaze. Big brother, he mutters, his voice raspy. I pinch my nose and take 2 steps back, looking completely disgusted. I snap, stay away from me. How many times did you wash? How come you still stink so much? Did the smell marinate or something? Yeah. Lu Chen's face instantly turns scarlet. His entire body trembles, humiliated to the point of almost grinding his teeth. Guqichuan, you're crossing the line. A cry of rage echoes from the side. It's my dear big sister, Lu Yangxin. She also clearly just took her shower. Her face totally distorted. Yeah, she points a finger at me, screaming. It's you, isn't it? You're the one who schemed this. Yeah, as soon as you left, trouble hit us. It's bound to be you Jinx, yeah. I spread my hands, looking totally innocent. Lu Yangxin, you need proof to accuse people. Me, Men is the mayor's daughter. Yeah, with such a scandal. The police have surely opened an investigation. Yeah, do you have proof that I ordered this? Why not wait for the official report? So in my opinion. It's just that you guys have too much of a big mouth. You pissed off too many people and now it's karma. Lu Yangxin is left speechless. She can only glare daggers at me. That's enough. Both of you, shut up, shouts Lu Shan from the ground floor. Isn't this enough of a mess already, Lu? Yangxin furious stomps her foot and drags a near tearful Lu Shan into her room. I watch them walk away with an icy smile. And this is only the beginning. The next morning, when I come downstairs, the atmosphere in the dining room is even stranger than the day before. Lu Shan isn't there. He probably left early for the office. On Yuron, Lu Shan and his sisters were sitting at the table, their gazes. Their deep dark circles betrayed a sleepless night. Seeing me come down, everyone went dead silent as if someone had pressed the mute button. The clatter of silverware on plates grew quieter. Lu Shan even instinctively shrank his head into his shoulders. He didn't dare cross my gaze. I walked straight to the seat that usually belonged to him. I sat down, and immediately, a maid brought me a new set of silverware while trembling. Nobody dared to say anything anymore. Power is the only way to earn respect. I ate my breakfast without rushing, my gaze sweeping over Lu Chen's pale and fragile face, and I asked intentionally, Lu Chen, tell me, are you and your sister planning on going to class today? Lu Yangxin and Lu Chen both stiffened. You've seen the school forum, I assume. Continued with undisguised jubilation. You are the new stars of the school now. The poop prince and princess, yeah, Tusk. What a nickname. If I were you, I wouldn't dare show my face. Lu Shan bit his lip to the point of bleeding. Lu Yangxin abruptly snapped her head up to glare daggers at me. Just as she was about to speak, I kept going, especially you, Lu Chen. Your status as the most popular guy in school. I think you can kiss it goodbye in the future. Maybe you should wear a gas mask when going out. To avoid being recognized, yeah. After all, you stand out so much. Gu Qichuan, Lu Yangxin finally snapped, slamming her fist on the table to stand up. That's enough. Yeah. If it weren't for you, how could Chen have been sprayed with crap? Yeah, I cut her off, my gaze turning icy. Yeah, Lu. Yeah, did your brain marinate in crap or what? Am I the one who told him to go stand in front of the mall, just to get sprayed? No, he looked for trouble all on his own. And you're throwing the blame on me? Do you all think I'm an easy target? No. I also put down my silverware and stood up. The overwhelming pressure from my height made Lu Yangxin instinctively take half a step back. Listen to me carefully. My gaze slowly swept over every single person present at the table, including Lan Yuron, who was sulking. Kukichuan didn't come back just to let myself get messed with by you guys before, when I had no father and no mother. Nobody ever dared to pick a fight with me. So why should I, now that I found a family? Shut up and take it all. In that case, what do I even need this family for? My voice wasn't loud, but it carried a chill so icy that it seemed to drop the room's temperature by several degrees. Whoever dares to ruin my life, I will ruin theirs forever. If you feel like it, go ahead and try. With that, I pushed back my chair and turned to leave. Uncle Wu, get the car ready. I'm going to school, yeah. The butler. Uncle Wu hastened to reply respectfully. Yes, young master, yes. Behind me, there was a dead silence. Lu Chen watched my figure walk away, the hatred in his eyes almost palpable. Cookie Chuan, just you wait, yeah. Well, see if you still act tough once you're at school. Experimental. High school was the top private high school in Linlu, gathering most of the elite kids in the city. The luxury black car pulled up in front of the gate. I got out, a backpack nonchalantly held in one hand. The new school uniform on me gave off a sort of rebellious and dominating aura. I was completely out of step with the other students. Whether they were timid or arrogant, my appearance immediately drew many looks. Who is that? The new guy. He's super handsome. What charisma. What class is he in? Never seen him. A transfer student, maybe. At the same time, other glances, more persistent, were accompanied by whispers. Did you see the school forum? No way. Oh my god, Lu Chen and the others? Shh, quieter. That's him. The true heir that the Lu family just found. No wonder he doesn't look ordinary at all. This time, Lu Chen really hit a wall. I heard about what happened yesterday in front of the mall. Maybe it has something to do with him. My hearing is excellent, so I heard everything. A barely perceptible smile formed on my lips. Wanting is truly efficient. It's already going viral on the school forum. Big brother. Fake warm voice echoed beside me. No need to turn around. I already knew who it was. Lu Chen and Lu Yangqin had arrived. Lu Chen wore a benevolent smile, as if the unpleasantness of yesterday and this morning had never happened. As for Lu Yangxin, she stood by his side, glaring at me like her worst enemy. Big brother, should we walk in together? I'll accompany you to the school office for your registration, proposed Lu Shen as he stepped forward trying to grab my arm. But I shifted to avoid him, gaze freezing cold. No need. Lu Chen's hand was left hanging in midair. His smile didn't fade, but a dark gleam flashed through his eyes. The stares around us multiplied. Lu Yangxin, unable to take it anymore, let out a sneer. Hey, Cookie Chuan, we're trying to be nice to you. Stop acting tough. Chen is being sweet to you. Yeah. Yangxin, drop it. Lu Chen cut her off quickly, shaking his head to signal her to stop. Then he turned to me with a radiant smile. Yeah, big brother. In that case, Yangxin and I will go ahead first, yeah. Watching their fake close silhouettes walk away, I sneered coldly. What a joke. Let's see how long you can keep acting. Following the instructions, I arrived at the school office. The person greeting me was a middle-aged female teacher, wearing gold-rimmed glasses and looking rather strict. She adjusted her glasses on her nose, measuring me from head to toe, her gaze filled with a condescending contempt. Obviously, she had also heard about my exploits, or Lu Chen had already tipped her off. You are Cookie Chuan, her tone was icy. Your school record has been transferred. Senior year, class 3. That is the elite class of our institution. I hope you will respect the rules and won't drag the class average down. She heavily emphasized elite class and drag down. The message was clear. A country bumpkin like me had no place in an elite class. I said nothing, merely staring at her calmly. My gaze seemed to make her uncomfortable. She cleared her throat and handed me a schedule. Here is your schedule. Your homeroom teacher is Mr. Lee. His office is on the second floor. Good, you may go. Took the schedule and turned on my heels. Reaching the door, I paused, turned back, looked at her and said in a neutral voice, Madam Wang, you have a piece of lettuce stuck between your teeth. Madam Wang froze. She instinctively put her hand to her mouth, her face suddenly turning scarlet. I flashed a smirk and walked off with a determined stride. Today, barely arriving at the bottom of the main building, someone blocked my path. It was 3 big guys in basketball gear. The one leading the pack had a buzz cut and a malicious look. He's the captain of the school's basketball team and also one of Lu Chen's lapdogs. Hey you, who are you? Oh, you are Cookie Chuan. Xiaogong stood in front of me, arms crossed blocking my path. The 2 guys behind him didn't look friendly either. I raised an eyebrow. Got a problem. Seems like you've been talking real big. Barely back and you're already going after Lu Chen. Yeah, Xiaogong stepped forward, trying to intimidate me with his size. Too bad for him, he's a bit shorter than me. Yeah, and on top of that, you caused trouble for Niman and the others. I'm warning you, stay away from Lu Chen and Niman, or I'll mess you up. I smiled, one of those smiles full of contempt and sarcasm. Mess me up? I took a step forward, no, almost touching. My gaze was as cold as a razor blade. Just you. Intimidated by my confidence, Xiaogong instinctively took half a step back. Immediately, shame turned into rage. I didn't even have time to finish his sentence before I struck. I grabbed the finger he was pointing at me and twisted it violently backward. Crack, crack. Blood-curdling crack. Xiaogong let out a squeal like a slaughtered pig. He doubled over in pain. 2 lackeys behind him turned pale, getting ready to rush me. I let go of Xiaogong's finger, and while he was grimacing in pain, without having time to react, planted a kick right into his stomach. Bam Xiaogong's massive body pushing 6'3", was sent flying backward by my kick. He crashed into a flower bed behind him. curling up into a ball, groaning in pain. The other two stopped dead in their tracks. They looked at me terrified, not daring to take another step. I set off, my hands to remove some non-existent dust, my gaze sweeping over them. Who else wants a piece of this? The two froze completely, shaking their heads frantically. The students watching the scene were just as stunned, their eyes filled with a mixture of awe and fear. This guy is a straight-up beast, daring to hit Ajaogong and doing it with such efficiency, without paying them any more attention. I threw my bag over my shoulder and headed straight for the senior building. Barely arriving in front of the classroom door, I heard a racket inside, as well as the familiar voice of a woman, my big sister Lu Yangxin. She is the physics teacher of senior year class 1. Some students would do well not to think that their connections allow them to do whatever they want. School is a place for studying, not a stage for you to flex, and above all, do not bring the nauseating atmosphere of society here into this school. Her words were clearly targeted. Her sharp shot daggers at me the moment I stepped into the classroom. All eyes instantly turned toward me. There was curiosity, surprise, unhealthy gloating, and also, seen in Lu Chen's eyes, a flash of triumph. I matched the icy air of Lu Yangxin without the slightest fear. There was even the shadow of a smirk on the corner of my lips. Lu Yangxin, is that your welcoming speech? A bit low tier, my dear sister. Our little game officially begins right here in this classroom. Senior year class 1, the top class of the science track, at the experimental high school of the city, which gathers the most brilliant students of the year and the children of the most prestigious families. I stood on the threshold, facing the icy glare of Lu Yangxin and the various stares of the entire class. I felt like I had gone back to my past life, to the time of the timid and rejected transfer student. But this time is different. I'm coming in, I said in a calm voice totally devoid of any emotion. Lu Yangxin adjusted her glasses. Her gaze behind the lenses was as sharp as a blade. She didn't let me come in. Instead, she said coldly, "Gukichuan, late on your first day of class. Is this your attitude towards studying?" I raised my wrist to check my watch, saying in a calm tone, "Ms. Lu, there's still 1 minute left before the bell. If this counts as being late, then at least half the class is also late." A few muffled laughs could be heard across the classroom. Lu Yangxin's face darkened. She didn't expect that I'd dare talk back to her in public. What a big mouth. Even if you aren't late, arriving at the last minute is proof of laxity. The elite class has its own rules. It's nothing like the places you used to go to before. The discriminatory undertone in her words was obvious. I smiled, but my gaze became even more icy. You, Ms. Lu, where I come from. The very first thing teachers teach us is to base things on facts. Apparently, the rule of the elite class is to just make up accusations. Lu Yangxin, caught off guard by my comeback, had her chest heaving, visibly furious. She took a deep breath, suppressing her anger, and pointed to an empty seat in the back row next to the trash can. Your seat is over there. Hope you will know how to keep quiet and don't disturb the other students. It was the worst seat in the entire classroom. I shrugged indifferently, under looks that were partly sympathetic and partly amused from the whole class. I headed toward that seat. As I walked past Lu Chen, he gave me a look that was at once concerned and secretly satisfied, whispering, "Ms. Lu is just a bit strict. Don't take it personally." I ignored him. After I sat down, the student next to me instinctively shifted his chair to the side, as if he were afraid of catching something bad. Up front, Lu Yangxin started the lecture. It was on electromagnetic induction. Pretty tough topic. Her teaching style was clear. She was actually good at it. But her gaze swept toward my direction from time to time, filled with undisguised contempt and disgust. The next exercise is the final problem from last year's physics competition. It is a bit difficult. Is there a volunteer to come try it out? Lu Yangxin wrote a complex problem on the board. The classroom went dead silent. This problem was genuinely hard, requiring the combined application of several concepts. Lu Chen furrowed his brow slightly, looking deep in thought. I was the physics class rep. His grades had always been top tier. A few other top physics students were also tempted, but they were still in the middle of calculating. Lu Yangxin swept her gaze across the classroom, then locked it onto me. An imperceptible smirk formed on the corner of her lips. "Kukichuan, hey, you just transferred from another region. Your basics might be a bit weak, but it's a good thing to dare to try. Don't you want to come give it a shot? No, so that everyone can see your level." Her tone was clearly provocative. She was just waiting for a clown show. All eyes in the class turned once again toward me. Oh, a gleam of joy flashed through Lu Chen's eyes. He knew exactly how hard this problem was. Even he needed time to think it over. How could this country bumpkin Kukichuan ever solve it? If he goes to the board, it'll just be to humiliate himself. Everyone thought I was going to chicken out, or that I would go to the board completely miserable just to look a fool. I put down the pen I was holding, under the expectant gazes of Lu Yangxin and Lu Chen. Stood up slowly, all right. My voice, although low, echoed clearly throughout the classroom. Under everyone's stunned and hostile looks, I walked up to the podium. I took a piece of chalk without the slightest hesitation and started writing directly on the blackboard. Let L be the effective length, cutting the magnetic induction lines, and V be its velocity. according to Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction, and considering the self-induction phenomenon of the coil. Here we must use the current element method. My writing on the board was perfectly fluid. The steps were clear, the logic rigorous, and the solution was even more concise and ingenious than the one Lu Yangxin had planned out. The chalk glided across the board, producing a sharp click-clack that seemed to hammer at everyone's heart. A dead silence reigned in the room, with nothing to be heard but the sound of my writing. Lu Yangxin's smirk had frozen a long time ago, replaced by a look of shock and disbelief. But this reasoning is even better than the reference solution that I know of. But how? Could a loser who comes from the countryside do this? Lu Chen, on his part, had his eyes wide open, staring at the board with a face as pale as if he had just seen a ghost. In less than 3 minutes, I wrote down the final answer, put down the chalk, and dusted off hands to remove the powder. I turned toward Lu Yangxin and said in a neutral tone, "Ms. Lu, I'm done. Is this correct, yeah?" Lu Yangxin stared at the perfect resolution on the board. She opened her mouth, but no sound came out for a long moment. I don't know who started it. Someone in the class began to applaud, soon followed by others. Eventually, the applause became loud and heavy. These elite students might look down on newcomers and judge people by their social status, but they know how to recognize and respect raw talent when they see it. I looked at the pale face of Lu Yangxin and the crestfallen look of Lu Chen. A cold smile formed inside me. The best humiliation is to hit you where you think you're the strongest. In my past life, they plotted to make me fail my university entrance exam. But later, despite the hardships, I self-taught myself the entire college physics curriculum, and even excelled in certain fields. What is a simple high school physics Olympiad problem compared to that? A stroke of luck. You must have already done a similar exercise. Lu Yangxin finally found her voice. To save face, go back to your seat and pay more attention in class. Don't go thinking you're a genius just because you solved one problem. I didn't even bother to answer her. Under the mixed looks of the entire class, I calmly returned to my seat. For the rest of the lecture, nobody dared look at me like a country bumpkin anymore. The bell rang and Lu Yangxin left the room almost in a run. I had just packed my things and was about to go out to get some fresh air when a figure blocked my way. It was Lu Manjiao. She is in the same class as Lu Chen, right next door. Gu Qichuan, what did you do to my older sister? She asked me furiously. Yeah, she had obviously heard about what happened in class. What could I have possibly done to her? No, I raised an eyebrow. I only answered her question. No, what? No, Ms. Lu wouldn't lose to you. That's nonsense. No, you must have used some dirty trick. The voice of Lu Manjiao was shrill. No, I'm warning you, stay away from my sister and Chen. Otherwise, you're going to regret it. Always the same old track. My gaze turned icy. Yeah, I took a step toward her menacingly. Lu Manjiao, have you already forgotten this morning's lesson, or do you also want a taste of the pleasure of getting slapped in public? The MC pressure made Lu Manjiao turn pale. Yeah, she instinctively took a step back. Before screaming to mask her fear, go ahead. Let's try and see. We'll see if I dare, I snapped in an icy tone. Lu Manjiao was terrified by the threat in my eyes. She gritted her teeth, threw a "you're gonna pay for this" at me, and pulled the arm of a worried-looking Lu Chen, who was standing right next to her. They left in a hurry. I watched them walk away, my gaze deep. Lu Chen, this is only the beginning. Everything that was precious to you, I will destroy it. You know those grades you're so proud of, the affection of all those girls. I'm going to smash it all to pieces, little by little with my own hands. During the lunch break, I avoided the crowd and went up to the school roof. Mu Wanning was already waiting for me there, holding 2 elegant lunch boxes in her hand. First battle, first victory. She handed me a box with a smile. I heard that with that teacher named Lu, who made her face turn red. I then opened the box. Inside were my favorite dishes. No, it's nothing. Lu Yangxin was just the start. We ate, leaning against a railing overlooking the entire school. The hype on the school site hasn't died down yet, said Mu Wanning. No. Lu Chen and his girl squad didn't dare show their faces in public today, but they must surely be plotting something in secret. I nodded. Lu Chen and his sisters, as well as Niman's crew. They are definitely not going to let this slide. By the way, Mu Wanning continued, I got some news from the Guangantang side. The Ning and Ouyang families are still looking for a miracle doctor and are ready to pay a premium price to treat Ouyang Guyan. The offered reward has already tripled. Ouyang Guyan, Niman's mother, in my past life. She hadn't hesitated to help. Niman caused trouble for me. I remember. She suffers from a disease, a neurological disease, and lives through a nightmare, tormented by constant pain. I took a sip of water and replied in a neutral tone, tell them that the miracle doctor is not seeing anyone these days. And by the way, send a little gift we prepared. To Vice Mayor Ning. A little gift, asked Mu Wanning, raising an eyebrow. A detailed tale on the Vice Mayor's beloved son who is blowing money in overseas casinos and is suspected of money laundering. Chilly smile formed on my lips. Let him taste a bit of that anxiety. Being overwhelmed by trouble too. Mu Wanning smiled. Understood. I'll take care of it right away. That exact moment, my phone vibrated. It was a special encrypted message. I opened it, a private message from the dark web. Sender Lu Manjiao. Content was simple. It was with a barely noticeable anxiety and respect. Hello, great master of spades, are you there? Yeah, I have an emergency and I need your guidance. Regarding the experimental high school website fake, information on the homepage is impossible to delete. The administrator rights seem to have been modified. I've tried many methods, but all have failed. So if you don't mind, could you enlighten me? The reward is not a problem. Reading this message, I could almost imagine Lu Manjiao pulling her hair out in front of her computer, completely overwhelmed. Defense and the anti-deletion program of the school network. I'm the one who set them up last night. Just casually, with Lu Manjiao's level. She must have noticed that the permissions were modified. She has some talent, but as for hacking it, she can keep dreaming. I reply calmly, with the same exorbitant quote as usual. Problem is solvable. It's 500 bitcoins. Payment first, solution after. Shortly after sending the message, I received a reply. The tone was shocked and embarrassed. It's 500 bitcoins, thank you. Setting this price, isn't it a bit too high? Could you give me a discount? Immediately closed the chat window. Negotiate, no, she is in no position to do so. Mu Wanning leaned over to take a look. When it comes to fleecing people, you really are the best, Kichuan. 500 bitcoins, that's enough to ruin her. She looked for it. I remember everything she did. Lu Manjiao often used her hacker skills to cover Lu Chen's tracks. She even falsified my exam grades. Yeah, this little lesson is pretty light in comparison. But if she managed to find you, that means she has resources. 10 minutes. Passing, touching her chin. We should give her an even more memorable lesson. Yeah, I shake my head. Not for now. I'm keeping her. She will still be useful. I need to fish out what is hidden behind her. Something deeper that she might have access to. I have a feeling that for Lu, Manjiao too reached such a high hacking level at her age. She must have had help. And the dark web is a very murky world. All afternoon, Niman and her squad didn't stop, whispering among themselves. No need to be a psychic to know they were plotting against me. After class, I saw Lu Chen leave first, but Niman and the others didn't seem to want to budge. The message was clear. I told Mu Wanning to go to the cafeteria without me. Mu Wanning didn't ask any questions. These losers are no match for me. There was nothing to worry about. So, Niman and her squad were thrilled to see me alone. They thought about handling both of us if necessary. But now we were splitting up. Lu Chen was getting ready to come provoke me to lure me to the roof when he saw me heading there on my own, thinking about the humiliation I made them suffer. Yesterday, they were eager to smash me to pieces. Arriving on the roof, I saw Lu Chen. I said nonchalantly, so, do you want to see your seal again to remember yesterday's taste? No, just bringing up yesterday. Ade Lu Chen's face twist with rage, but at the thought that I would soon become the school's new laughingstock, his heart felt a whole lot lighter. Even if you are the true heir of the Lu family, so what? Yeah, you're just a despicable slave. You'll never be anything more than our plaything. You'll soon understand the cost of defying us. Right after Naiman and the others also walked in. Yeah, aside from Lu Manjiao, Niman and her squad had also brought 4 other classmates. Lu Chen locked the rooftop door, his face hardening as he declared that today he was going to completely destroy me. Nimamade signed to the 4 students to surround me, but she didn't see a single trace of panic on my face. I looked at this bunch of clowns. Let's not waste time, all of you come at me at once. Feeling provoked, Niman, absolutely furious, flew into a wild rage. Go. Hold him down for me. The first to act were the 4 guys I had called out. I didn't pull my punches and the 4 followed me. Niman and her squad had always ruled the school. They caused quite a lot of harm. We put them down one by one. Niman and the others were starting to get scared. How can he be so strong? Niman muttered. My gaze even drifted toward the entrance. Without even realizing it, I was already standing in front of the door. To get out, they had to go through me. And ever since this morning, I had zero intention of letting Niman and her squad leave this roof so easily. Niman and the others didn't dare move anymore. So I had to take the initiative and give him a slap. Outside, Lu Manjiao, who was keeping watch, heard the noise. Yeah, something was wrong. She immediately approached and pounded on the door. Open up. Open this door for me. I flashed a smirk, walking straight into the tiger's den. Perfect joined the party. I opened the door. Opening it, Lu Manjiao saw everyone on the ground utterly defeated. Mad with rage, she screamed, "You've got some nerve. You know who you're dealing with." I shot daggers at her with my gaze. I dragged her inside and slammed the door. Bam, bang. Lu Manjiao was glaring at me with pure fury. Smack, smack. I slapped her without wasting a second. Why are you screaming like that? Lu Manjiao held her cheek. Since I was a kid, nobody except my dad has ever dared to hit me like this. Yeah, I'm gonna kill you. Lu Manjiao lunged at me, claws out. I planted a kick right into her leg. Lu Manjiao collapsed to the ground, writhing in pain. My cruelty obviously terrified Niman and the others. Seeing me approach Lu Chen, shivered all over. She threatened me. I am the daughter of the Lu family. Lu Chen, yeah, you'd better just let me walk out of here, or my parents will never forgive you. Yeah, I am the daughter of the mayor. You can't hit me either. Niman quickly blurted out, completely frightened. Beside her, Ouyang Nala chimed in. I am the daughter of the Ouyang family. How could I forget who they are? Yeah, I haven't forgotten for a single second the events of my past life. I'm not going to beat you up. Don't worry, I said, pulling a hair clipper from my pocket. I just want to give you a little trim. Iman and the others turned pale, screaming in terror, "What are you doing?" I didn't answer. I pinned her down, despite Naiman's protest. Placed the clipper on her forehead, against her scalp, and shaved straight to the back of her head, watching her hair fall to the ground. A terrified Neiman screamed, "I swear I will never forgive you. Keep talking back, and I'll grab all this hair from the floor and stuff it down your throat." That single sentence stopped Neiman's screams dead in their tracks. And it wasn't just Neiman who shut up, Lu Chen and the others also wisely kept their mouths closed. In an instant, Neiman's hairstyle looked like something a bunch of dogs had chewed on. Seeing Neiman's new cut, Liu Chen and the others reached the peak of despair. I waved the hair clipper in my hand. "Don't fight back. It's my first time cutting hair, and I'm just getting the hang of it. I'll try to keep a steadier hand for the next one." "No," Liu Chen burst into tears. "No, not a haircut. I don't want it. I beg you, I'll never do it again." "Do you think I care?" I asked them in a freezing voice. "How about you suffer the exact same fate as Neiman?" That single sentence was enough to shut up Liu Chen's crying. No, under their desperate gazes, I took care of their hair one after the other. Lu Manjiao didn't escape it either. Once I was entirely done with them, I pulled out my phone to take photos of them from every angle. I went to the sink to wash my hands, and while washing I said, "Lu Chen, didn't I already tell you to stay away from me? No, you haven't been beaten up enough these past 2 days. And on top of that, you send your sisters to the slaughter. It's entirely your fault they suffered this today. In my past life, the 4 of them were super tight-knit when bullying me. Today, I really want to see if these 4 are still just as united." With that, I finally left. I felt absolutely amazing. Vengeance really revives you. At the cafeteria, Mu Wanning had already grabbed my favorite dish. I handed her my phone. "Take a look, admire my trophy wall." Mu Wanning took the phone and scrolled through the photos. She commented, "Not bad this haircut. Kichuan, you're a real fashion expert, always at the cutting edge of trends." I changed the subject and started talking about the Guangantang matter. We chatted for a short while, and then my phone began to ring. It was a call from Lu Chenghai. As soon as I picked up, I heard his furious voice. Neither Lu Chen nor I said a single word. Right at that moment, the school loudspeaker blared out Will Kichuan from senior year class 1 report. Immediately to the principal's office. The tone was incredibly urgent. "You really shouldn't mess with them. Iman and her squad. Every single one of them was influential. And now that they had all gotten into trouble at school, we acted as if we hadn't heard the announcement and just continued eating quietly." At the exact same time, the school loudspeaker blared out once again. "Will Gu Kichuan from senior year class 1 report." Immediately to the principal's office. The tone was even faster and more urgent than the first time. Once Mwaning and I finished eating, we headed over without any rush. The phone in my pocket kept vibrating. Inside the principal's office, Iman, Ouyang, Nala, the parents of Lu, Qin, and the others were all there. Lu Shanghai had arrived as well. Sailed by the children's parents, the principal was wiping the cold sweat dripping from his forehead. I was also incredibly anxious. Niman's father, Ninggang, slammed the table in anger. "Principal Li, how are you doing your job? We asked you to find one person, and you make us wait this long. Don't you know our time is extremely precious?" The principal replied with a contrite smile. "I've already sent a teacher to look for him. He shouldn't be long." Barely had he finished his sentence when the office door was kicked wide open. Ninggang, who was standing the closest, didn't have time to dodge and the door slammed into him. Lu Shanghai and the principal rushed over to help Ninggang get back up. As for me, I kicked the door down, walked inside with an arrogant stride and sat straight down in the principal's armchair. Seeing me, Niman and the others lunged at me. Paws out, backed up by their parents. They had suddenly regained all their courage. I took the teacup from the desk and violently smashed it onto the floor. Seeing my sinister smile, Niman and the others remembered the terror I had inspired in them and turned to their parents to complain. "Dad, it's this bastard who bullied me. He's the one who cut my hair," Niman added in a hateful tone. "Mom, this bastard hit me. He cut my hair too. Don't you dare let him get away with it." Luchin also started crying, and Ouyang Nala, not wanting to be left out, screamed, "Dad, he never showed us any respect. It's my hair that he cut. This is a slap in the face for our family." Lu Chen and Lu Manjiao also wanted to complain, but seeing their father's livid face, they wisely kept their silence. They only hoped that after this ordeal, I would be permanently kicked out of the Lu family. Ingong, his face red with anger, called out Lu Shanghai. "For what happened this time? Your family owes our family an explanation." Now that his own daughter had been put in such a state, he dreamed of tearing me to pieces. If it hadn't been for keeping up appearances, having been in power for so many years, nobody had ever dared to insult him like this. "Lu Shanghai, we demand satisfactory compensation." Lu Shanghai looked at me exasperated, wondering what kind of curse he had brought upon himself. I haven't even gained any benefit from him yet, and he's already causing me so many losses. "Get down on your knees right now and apologize to your classmates." Then I sneered, saying in a nonchalant tone, "An apology? Is this a joke?" Even Muwaning let out a laugh, her gaze sweeping over them one by one. "Lu Shanghai, before asking me to apologize, shouldn't you first ask me why I went after them?" No, it doesn't matter what the reason is. Nothing justifies you putting your classmates in a state like this. Rinke was the first to speak, his chest heaving with anger. Don't you know how important hair is? Know why be so malicious at your age? If there was a problem, why? Didn't you go see the teachers or the principal? Principal La is in cahoots with you guys. Talking to teachers actually worked the students. They were bullying before. Wouldn't have been forced to change schools. Yeah, Oh Young-ji looked at Lu Cheng-hai and said in a threatening tone, what good is an apology? For your child to act this way is a total lack of respect toward our Oh Young family. In reality, this was just a trivial matter. These families were only taking advantage of the incident to try and get something out of the Lu family. Lu Cheng-hai didn't agree. I initially wanted me to apologize, hoping to ease the tensions, but I had zero interest in doing so. He had no choice but to swallow his anger and ask Lu Manjiao what had really happened. He wanted to know every detail of the case, so Lu Manjiao and Lu Chen were super embarrassed. They both seemed to hesitate. I didn't want to waste my time. They're the ones who cornered me on the rooftop terrace. They wanted to teach me a lesson, and out of the goodness of my heart, kindly help them by cutting their hair. You're lying. You're the one who went after us the moment you arrived. Lu Xin swore that she hadn't fought back. You hit me as soon as you came in, and when Niman and Ouyang Nala arrived, you hit them too. You didn't even spare your own little brother, and to top it off, you even dragged your big sister into this mess to beat her up. You cut our hair, so how can you be so malicious? Chin threw her accusation while crying hot tears. Dingong, with a heavy heart, took her into his arms. Look at that. Guo Qichuan doesn't have a single scratch on her. Look closely. It's not just Lu Chen, but also Niman and the others who are covered in bruises. Shanhai, looking exasperated, said squabbles between kids. It's completely normal. We must absolutely not let this matter. Ruin our good relations. With that said, apologized to Guo Qichuan and the others. He stood up staring right at Lu Cheng-hai. Me apologize never. If you want me to apologize, you might as well disown me right now. Lu Cheng-hai felt his chest tighten with anger and took several deep breaths. Behind him stood several families from the capital. He could not afford to displease. Me apologize never. And why should I? It's not even my fault. Protested before turning around to leave. Ningong barked. Where do you think you're going like that? I didn't give you permission to leave. Yeah, this matter isn't settled yet. Who allowed you to leave? Yeah, even the principal stepped in my way. Ignored the principal and grabbed the finger that Ron Lily was pointing at me. Didn't your mother ever teach you that it's very rude to point fingers at people? While speaking, I squeezed harder. Yeah, ow, 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 ow. Ow, ow, let go of me. Initially, I didn't want to have trouble with these people. I should have just let Lu Zhenghai handle it. But seeing Ruan, Lily walk straight into the tiger's den on her own, I changed my mind. Maybe the matter isn't clear enough. The nasty things your daughters have done at school. Do you really have absolutely no idea? I'm not the first student they have bullied. Do you think if all of this got out, the Lu family's business would be affected? With that said, I turned my head toward Ningong and Ouyang-ji. Mr. Vice Mayor Ning, do you really think you can keep your position? My tone was freezing. I was now fully determined to fight to the very end. So I sat back down and simply raised my hand. Mu Wanning then pulled out a phone. Contained clear records of Niman and the evidence of how they had bullied their classmates all these years. A single look was enough to turn the blood of Ningong and the others to ice. I didn't understand. I was certain he had wiped all of this information. How could this person have found it again? He exchanged a look with Rowan Lily and the others. The same shock could be read in their eyes. His face was completely livid. He just hoped that things would settle down. After all, he will still be useful to me. Mr. Vice Mayor Ning, don't be afraid today. All I want is an apology. At these words, Ning Gokang and the others rushed to drag their kids over to make them apologize. Iman and her squad had always been spoiled brats. How could they ever agree to apologize to the person they used to bully? They all started protesting fiercely until finally, Ningong had to force Naiman's head down to make her apologize. The other parents immediately followed his example. Seeing the humiliation of Niman and the others, I was in an excellent mood. Yeah, but it was still not enough. I want them all to apologize on their knees. Mere words are completely useless. In my past life, when they were helping Luchin torment me, they kept forcing me to get on my knees. They forced me to kowtow, so I want Iman and her entire clique to get a taste of it too. Just thinking about the expression of despair and humiliation on their faces, my heart fills with absolute joy. My sentence echoed in the room like a bomb. It wasn't just Niman and her squad who were stunned. Ningong and the others were just as shocked. Apologize on their knees. What a supreme humiliation. Niman's eyes turned red with anger. In your dreams. Run Lily spat out while gritting her teeth. That's enough. Don't push it too far, too far. I waved Mu Wanning's phone. Then what your daughters did is way worse than that. Of course, you can refuse to apologize, but feel free to take your chances. Let's see if all of you together can actually survive this storm. The faces of Run Lily and the others were completely shattered. They didn't dare take the risk. Ning, Hung, and the others all turned their gazes toward Lu Zhenghai. Lu Zhenghai had no choice but to throw themselves into it with a heavy heart. Ku Ki Chuan, do me this favor. Muan. Ji grabbed the fruit knife from the principal's desk and said, anyway, you have nothing planned today. In an icy voice, she continued, what if I stabbed you? Right now, not to death just enough to leave you crippled. Then I'll just offer you a casual apology, would that be fine? After all, you wouldn't be dead. Lu Chen didn't dare answer. This woman behind me just wouldn't stop. Again and again. Her repeated provocations ended up irritating Ouyang-ji. Young man, you shouldn't speak with so much arrogance. After all, we are in City A. A fight to the death will be of no advantage to you. Ouyang-ji, is that right, I heard? Your family only survives thanks to the pills from Huangantang. Without waiting for his answer, Mu Wanning pulled out her cell phone right before his eyes. She made a call telling them to cut off the pill supply to the Ouyang family. Ouyang-ji let out a contemptuous laugh. Huang Antang would obey them, stop being ridiculous. It is a titan of the medical world, beyond the hospitals. Huang Antang is in itself a massive resource center. It is backed by the divine Dr. Wu Ming to get medical treatment. Many influential figures begged them. Some reckless fools who wanted to mess with them by force, whether they were from the underworld or high society, were all wiped out by the very next day. One can imagine the terrifying power of Guangantang. However, barely had she hung up when Ouyang-ji and Yingguang received a text message. Guangantang was putting an end to all collaboration with their two family. The staff of Guangantang really obey her, exclaimed Yingguang, his eyes wide with excitement. Ren and Lily was even more excited. The Yi family had always dreamed of working with Guangantang, but they had never had the chance. Ouyang-ji's tone suddenly softened. It's a misunderstanding. A simple misunderstanding. We apologize. Mu Wanning looked at them coldly. On your knees and apologize. Otherwise, the Ouyang family and the Ying family will cease to exist. Had no choice but to step in completely miserable. Ku Kichuan, do me this favor, Mu Wanning. However, grabbed the fruit knife from the principal's desk and said, either way, you have nothing planned today. In an icy voice, she continued, what if I stabbed you? Right now. Not to death, just enough to leave you crippled. Then I'll just casually give you an apology. Would that be fine? After all, you wouldn't be dead. Lu Zhenghai didn't dare answer. This woman behind me kept going on and on, her repeated provocations finally irritating Ouyang-ji. Young man, you shouldn't speak with so much arrogance. After all, we are in City A. A life and death struggle won't bring you any benefit. Ouyang-ji, is it I heard? Your family only survives thanks to the pills from Guangantang. Without waiting for his answer, Mu Wanning pulled out her cell phone right before his eyes. She made a call ordering them to cut off the pill supply to the Ouyang family. Ouyang-ji let out a contemptuous laugh. As if Guang Antang would obey them, stop being ridiculous. They are a titan of the medical world, beyond standard hospitals. Guang Antang is a massive resource center in itself. It is backed by the divine Dr. Wu Ming to get medical treatment. Numerous influential figures beg him. Some reckless fools who tried to take it by force, whether from the underworld or high society, were all wiped out by the very next day. One can imagine the terrifying power of Guangantang. However, barely had she hung up when Ouyang-ji and Ningguang received a text message. Guangantang was terminating all collaboration with their two families. The staff at Guangantang actually obey her, exclaimed Ningguang, his eyes wide open with shock. Ron and Lily was even more rattled. The Lu family had always dreamed of working with Guangantang, but they never had the chance. Ouyang-ji's tone suddenly softened. This is a misunderstanding, a simple misunderstanding. We apologize. Mu Wanning looked at them coldly. On your knees and apologize. Otherwise, the Ouyang family and the Lu family ready to walk in and overwhelm me with blame. But when they entered the principal's office and saw the scene, they froze right in their tracks. In disbelief, they rubbed their eyes. Niman and the others were on their knees in front of me. What kind of crazy delusion is this? How is this even possible? Come on, get over here. Hearing that, the four of them tremblingly stood behind Niman, and the others stammering in a fearful voice, "Peep, peep, principal." Yeah, I said calmly, on your knees and apologize. The faster it's done, the faster we can go back to class, yeah. The four students dropped to their knees, submissively even though they were boiling with rage. Niman and the others were already on their knees. Did they even have a choice? Yeah, I'm sorry. Please forgive us. Since the apologies are done, let's talk about the punishment. Each man raised her head, looking unhappy. Yeah, I raised my hand and patted her cheek. What, not happy? Yeah, did you think a simple apology would be enough? No. Luchin had an expression of pure agony. He just wanted this to be over, as quickly as possible so he could leave. Never in a million years would he have imagined that I had such powerful backing. His heart was filled with immense jealousy. With Mo Wanning's backing, his chances of kicking me out of the Lu family were practically zero. But if I stayed in the Lu family, his own situation would become harder and harder. In the end, all 8 received a major warning. If they weren't expelled, it's only because their torment wasn't over yet. The principal let out a sigh of relief. The day had been intense, but luckily, he hadn't been dragged into it. However, the very next second, a gaze locked onto him. Nai. Anne and her squad have bullied so many students in the past. When those students came to see you, Principal, you always covered for them. Someone like you is not worthy of being principal. Are you going to leave on your own? Or do we have to escort you out? The principal froze right on the spot. He looked at Ningong hoping he might intercede on his behalf. But how could Ningong ever cross us just for him? He spoke up with an exemplary sense of righteousness. I also think this principal needs to be replaced. Today I will join forces with several parents to expose these misdeeds. Covering for bullies is completely unforgivable. With that move, Hunting and I left the office and headed back to class. I logged into the school forum and posted the new look of Niman and her squad. Even though Naiman and the others are well known in school, I had the courtesy to add their names and their classes. The forum was already super active lately. The moment the post featuring their new look dropped, it quickly drew a massive crowd of curious students. Seeing the new look of Niman and her squad, many students secretly celebrated. These guys used to run the school. Finally, someone was able to shut them down. All the comments were saying justice was served. After Niman and the others got on their knees to apologize, they all got severely chewed out when they got back home. Niman and Ouyang Nala are the cause. Ouyang Koyan no longer take the pills from Kong Antang and almost suffered a brutal family beating. You have to understand that if the Ning and Ouyang families got to where they are today, it's solely due to their marriage alliance. If anything bad happened to Ouyang Kuyan, the alliance between the two families would definitely not be as rock solid as before. And then there's Lu Chen. The Lu family is currently setting up shop in the imperial capital by offending the people of Guangantang. Even if the latter don't actively interfere, their expansion project will hit numerous roadblocks. When Lu Chen's father heard the news, he rushed home immediately. Mad with rage, he handed her a memorable beating. Over there, Lu Manjiao was also called back home. With the exception of Lu Xitong, who was away shooting, all the other children were recalled. When Lu, Yingxin, and the other sisters came back and saw the hairstyle of Lu Chen and Lu Chen, they all flew into a blind rage, demanding sharply who had done this. Lu Chen didn't dare say anything. Yeah, the girls immediately thought that it was all my fault. Yeah, after all, who else could it have been? What a jinx, yeah. Ever since his return, there hasn't been a single day of peace in this house. The eldest sister, Lu Yangxin, wanted to speak up, but the second sister snapped, "You ungrateful brat, shut up." "The two of you," shouted Lu Zhenghai, glaring at Lu Chen. "Will you die if you don't stir up trouble for just one day, or what? Told you guys clearly not to provoke Gu Qichuan. Why do the two of you never listen to me?" Lu Zhenghai was shaking with rage, thinking about how he kept looking for trouble with me over and over again, and my rejection of the Lu. Lu Zhenghai's anger only grew. Unable to take it anymore, he stormed over to Lu Chen and delivered 2 resounding slaps. This move by Lu Zhenghai stunned the rest of the Lu family. Dad, how can you treat Lu Chen like that?" protested the third sister. "You shut up, you don't even know what this is about yet, you open your mouth." A furious Lu Shanghai then told them everything that happened at noon. He warned them again, specifically addressing Lu. "Shanghai's your elder brother. Don't forget your place. I am warning you all very seriously. Be more respectful towards him. If you target him again and offend him, don't expect me to be lenient." For Lu, in time had never felt so long. It seems that Gu Qichuan has a connection with Guangantang. After his warning, Zhenghai explained the whole story to the Lu family. Lu Xiting is a doctor. At the mere mention of Guangantang, her eyes started to gleam. The ultimate goal of any doctor is to join one of the prestigious hospitals of Guangantang and to one day be able to meet the divine Dr. Wu Ming. She felt her throat tighten. "Dad," she then said, "don't worry, Dad. We are going to behave well with our little brother. We won't make him sad anymore. She wants to join Guangantang, hoping that I could help her. That way, her career would reach a whole new level." Lu Chen looked at his sister in disbelief. They had been very clear before. He would forever be their one and only little brother, and they would never accept It had only been a few days. Lu Chen was terrified. What he dreaded the most had finally happened. Bit by bit, I'm going to take away what he cherishes the most. Lu Yangxin saw that Lu Chen didn't look well. She coughed to grab everyone's attention, and only then did his fourth sister, Lu Siki, remember Lu Chen. She didn't feel guilty at all, and on the contrary started talking about what happened today. "Lu Chen, how could you do such a thing? I don't know, you bullied a classmate. If these stories get out, our Lu family's reputation will suffer. Didn't you think about that?" No, however, she still had some affection for this little brother she grew up with. Her tone softened a bit at the end. "Dad is right. We are a family. Gu Qichuan has come back home. It's great to have one more brother." Lu Chen felt a deep aversion. He didn't need any elder brother. What he wanted was to be the only son of the Lu, only the one and only young master. But he couldn't say those words and just settled for a smirk. He forced a smile. The one speaking was Lu Siki. Beside him, Lu Siki chimed in, "So let's listen to Dad. Let's be a united and harmonious family. We, your big sisters, will take good care of Qichuan." Lu Siki is the CEO of the Lu family business. Gyeongantang enjoys not only great prestige in the medical world, but also in the business world. If we could get their backing, the family business, which is currently struggling, could take off again. Setting up in the imperial capital would no longer be just a dream. The heavy blows kept coming one after another. Lu Chen had barely just been betrayed by his fourth sister. Now even his second sister was speaking up in their favor right there. Lu Chen was completely seized by panic. Everything that belonged to him was being stripped away bit by bit. Lu Chenghai, seeing his two daughters being so reasonable, felt his anger cool down a bit. He looked at Lu Chen right beside him. He still spoke a few words to reassure him. Lu Chen, we have more than 10 years of affection binding us together. Don't overthink things too much. You will always be our son. Lu Chen nodded his head. He remained silent. Regarding the official recognition of Gu Qichuan, I plan to organize a grand ceremony. I want Gu Qichuan to be recognized as my son with great pomp so that the entire city knows that Gu Qichuan is my son. After all, the relations between Gu Qichuan and the Lu family aren't very good at the moment. Organizing a grand recognition ceremony could improve his bonds with the Lu family. Dad Lu Chen, at that time we will also announce your identity. Son, rest easy with our 10 years of affection. Even without blood ties, you remain our son. The more Lu Chenghai spoke, the more Lu Chen felt his heart turn to ice. Hai thought, organizing a grand ceremony just to please Gu Qichuan. Won't they know that this will hurt me? These people absolutely did not care about his feelings. Lu Chen was deeply distraught. This time, nobody opposed Lu Chenghai's words. After all, nobody would turn down the wealth and glory of Guantang. Once Lu Chenghai left, Lu Chen intentionally took off the wig he was wearing on his head. He hoped that his sisters would defend him. Lu Yangxin and the others, their faces filled with surprise, asked Lu Chen what happened to your hair. His eyes tearing up, Lu Chen said in a panicked voice. He said, it's nothing. He said, it has nothing to do with Big Brother. It's entirely my fault. Hearing this, Lu Yangxin could no longer contain herself. Just as she was about to explode, her second sister, Lu Siqi, spoke up before her. Since things are this way, Lu Chen, go back to your room for now. Lu Chen had zero interest in doing so, but he had no choice but to head back to his room. He turned around very slowly, making sure to show them the tears on his face. Lu Yuk and Lu Yangxin felt completely heartbroken for him. They wanted to step forward to comfort him, but were stopped by Lu Xitong and Lu Shiqi. Master, some things are just inevitable. If they want a good relationship with me, it's impossible to spare Lu Chen at the same time. Lu Yangxin looked toward the closed office door and said in a weak voice, little sister, my sister, didn't we agree to go convince Dad together not to organize this recognition banquet? No. Didn't we say that? Lu Chen would always remain our little brother. And besides, didn't you see Lu Chen's hair just now? Gu Qichuan humiliated him like that and you guys don't care. Big sister, do you even know what Guangantang represents? Lu Siqi pushed up her glasses, her eyes shining with an intense light. The Lu family business is declining year after year. If we manage to establish a relationship with Guangantang, our Lu family will not only be able to become the #1 family in the villa, but it will even be possible to set up shop in the capital. Lu Siqi's dream was within her lifetime, to be able to lead the company all the way to the capital. A brother is important, but not as much as her dream. Besides, the Lu family has always treated Lu Chen well. We offered him a life of absolute luxury, but our feelings that have lasted for over 10 years. Lu Manjiao interrupted her big sister. The family business goes bankrupt. Everything you own today will disappear. Yeah, without the company. How will you buy those designer bags you love so much? Do you plan to pay for them with your 10+ years of feelings? Lu Yangxin was suddenly at a loss for words. Lu Manjiao shut up as well. Their current comfortable life. It was to the company that they owed it. Lu Xin is important, but compared to the company obviously takes priority. Because of Lu Siqi's words, nobody went upstairs to comfort Lu Chen. Lu Chen, who was standing at the corner of the upstairs hallway, overheard their conversation. An icy chill invaded his heart. He thought that at the very least they would come up to comfort him. He was just waiting for them to arrive, so he could put on an act to tell them how I had cut his hair, and how I had humiliated him. In the evening, I came home after class. Walking into the living room, I found that there was a massive crowd today. Aside from Lu Xitong, who was away shooting, everyone was there. Seeing me return, Lu Chenghai approached with a familiar all-smiles look. Gu Qichuan, you're back. How did your first day of class go? It went well. Not too tired. I didn't answer his question. I walked right past him and kept moving forward. Then, Lu Siqi and the others all greeted me. Their attitude was so familiar. Felt as if the events of the previous days were just an illusion on my part. Big brother, come sit over here. Today, Lu Chen also enthusiastically invited me. Lu Chen had already prepared himself mentally. Since he couldn't change anything about it, he had to accept it for the moment. If he continued to oppose Gu Qichuan, he feared he would end up drifting further and further away from the rest of the family. Lu Chenghai, observing their behavior, was highly satisfied. A family needs to be united and in harmony. Lu Chen was wearing a wig, so you couldn't see the new haircut I had given him. Found that a bit of a shame. I found myself a spot, and while walking past Lu Chen, I knocked off the wig he had on his head by accident. Him PF, Lu Chen screamed in pure panic. He rushed to pick up the wig from the floor. Oops, I didn't do it on purpose. I looked at him with an innocent expression. At that moment, he would have loved for his 4 elder sisters to come to his rescue, but they remained silent. Lu Chen could only swallow his anger and force a smile. Then I muttered, better to stay away from those who bring bad luck. Even though it was just a whisper, everyone in the room heard it perfectly. Lu Yangxin, who hates me more than anything, immediately reacted to my provocation, screaming, "What are you implying?" Lu Chenghai cuts her off instantly, his gaze a clear warning. "Is that any way to speak to your little brother?" Lu Yangxin adders her little brother, to the point of absolutely not caring about Guangantang. Lu Chenghai said with a conciliatory smile, "Qichuan, your big sister is just in a bad mood. Don't pay any attention to her." "Yeah," I reply with a smirk. "She's still holding a grudge over the whole excrement incident." "No," I shrug my shoulders. "Didn't they call the police? And you don't even know how it ended." "Yeah, you've offended so many people getting splashed with excrement. Isn't that the least of your worries?" "Yeah." Lu Yangxin's chest heaves violently with rage. "It's precisely because they found no one that they are dumping all the blame on me. Hello, anyway, I have nothing to say to you guys." "What a jinx," I say, standing up, ready to leave. "Qichuan, don't leave. Today, let's talk about the Renkingiant matter. Some details need your decision." Lu Shanghai adds, "Today, as soon as your identity with Wanning was revealed, all those people immediately came to talk to me about the case regarding Renkingiant. Before, even if they had been forced to agree, they had done nothing to move things forward." "Talk about what? What?" "Cookie Chuan, don't push it," shouts Lu Yangxin. Lu Shanghai shot daggers at her with his gaze. "If you don't want to stay here, get the hell out. And apologize to Cookie Chuan." Lu Shanghai is truly angry. Yeah, Lu Yangxin can only apologize. Humiliated, she then goes to sit in silence in a corner, trying to make herself as scarce as possible. When you can't win, it's better to shut up. But I have zero intention of leaving them alone just yet. From time to time, I throw a jab about the family recognition banquet. Once the little brother's identity is out in the open, will he hate me? Lu Qian's smile is sadder than tears. "No, of course not. I'm very happy that my big brother is back. After all, you are mom and dad's real son." "Lu Yangxin, why aren't you smiling? Are you guys not happy, no? Or do you just never smile by nature?" "You're imagining things, little brother. As your elder sisters, we are obviously happy. Let me give you a piece of friendly advice. On that day, you better stay far away from me. Your presence by my side would lower my standing." "Alright, I think we've talked enough. I'm done eating." With that, I head upstairs. Lu Yangxin and the others look at the food in front of them, but their anger completely ruined their appetite. From the very beginning, I'm the one who ran the show with my sarcasm. They got led by the nose the entire time. They didn't even get a chance to ask questions about Kuang Antang. After thinking for a moment, Shanghai decides not to give up. He finally goes upstairs and knocks on my door. I was in the middle of a video call with Mu Wanning, being interrupted, so abruptly really put me in a terrible mood. I opened the door with a cold face and snapped, "What do you want?" "I'd like to establish a relationship with Guang Gantang." His request makes me chuckle. "Partnering with the Guang Gantang, the Lu family, do you actually think you're on their level?" Lu Shanghai didn't expect me to be so blunt. Right then, he didn't really know what to say. I had no time to waste on him. Bang. I slammed the door in his face. Lu Shanghai was mad with rage. He felt like kicking the door down. But thinking about my connections with Guang Antang, Lu Shanghai preferred to hold himself back. Meanwhile, Lu Yuk sneaked into Lu Chen's room. She found him sitting in front of his mirror, looking completely dejected. Lu Yuk's heart tightened. Seeing her walk in, Lu Chen put his wig back on in a total rush. "Big sister, what are you doing here?" Lu Yuk approached him. She tenderly wiped the tears from his face and whispered, "I'm sorry your big sister failed to protect you." Lu Chen's tears started flowing all over again. He shook his head. "It's not your fault, big sister." Lu Yu let out a contemptuous scoff. "He just happens to know some people from Guangantang. It's not like he's actually a part of Guangantang himself. He's just a nobody. Who does he think he is to dare offer a collaboration between Guangantang and our family?" Dad and the others have lost their minds. They are so desperate that they would do anything. "Lu Shen, don't worry. I will always be on your side. I'm going to make his life a living hell at school." Lu Yuk hated me to death. Lu Chen pursed his lips. "Yeah, big sister. About the post on the school forum. Our big sister said that it's impossible to delete those 3 posts. As long as they are online, the other students will never stop mocking us. First they got splashed with excrement, and then they got their hair cut." Just thinking about it made Lu Chen grit his teeth in rage. Lu Yuk's face was darkened as well. The forum insults were flying from every direction. Lu Chen could no longer bear having those posts remain online. I didn't want to see the contemptuous looks of his classmates anymore. "Big sister, what if we asked the great master to delete them?" "Yeah. It's just that 500 bitcoins is a bit expensive." Lu Yuk's photo was also on the forum. Having no choice, Lu Yuk finally agreed to this solution. They absolutely had to settle this post issue, otherwise it would haunt them indefinitely. The next day, Lu Xian added Yiman and the others to a group chat to talk to them about deleting the posts. At first, when they heard that the posts could actually be deleted, Niman and the others were thrilled. But upon hearing the price, they all got a bit discouraged. Even though their families are loaded, their parents don't just hand them cash on demand. They only get standard pocket money, even though it physically hurt them. In the end, they all agreed. So Lu Yuk sent a request via the dark web, I looked at the message sent by Lu Yue. After thinking about it for a moment, I decided to accept this contract. Only an idiot would turn down free money. But before the price was 500 bitcoins per post. Now for 3 posts, the price needs to be recalculated. I'll give them a small discount. 200,000 will be enough ASAP. Lu Chen almost jumped out of his chair. To scrape together 100,000, they already had to empty their savings. And since they had made their parents furious today, they didn't dare ask them for any money. And now they had to add another 100,000 on top of that. But where are we going to find all this cash? Lu Yue grumbled. The Ace of Spades is the #1 hacker on the dark web. His rates have always been astronomical. Looking at his previous contracts, orders of this amount are actually considered minor league. Over the last 2 days, I also contacted other people on the dark web, but I couldn't find anyone capable of deleting the post. The program I put in place isn't even that complicated. The reason why the people she found failed to delete it is because Lu Yuke's level is extremely low on the dark web. She can only get in touch with people of her own caliber. Sha has absolutely zero access to those who are more skilled. If she even has the Ace of Spades contact, it's only because I deliberately approached her back then. Lu Chen and the others just couldn't accept it. Barely a single day had passed and the price had already doubled. So they pushed Lu Yue to go negotiate with the Ace of Spades. How could Lu Yue possibly agree? The dark web is not some local flea market. You can't just bargain over there. In the end, faced with Lu Chen's tearful breakdown, Lu Yue was forced to give in and sent a message to the Ace of Spades anyway. But she was absolutely furious. When I saw the message from Lu Yue, I almost burst out laughing. I thought about it and replied by jacking it up to 300,000. When Lu Chen saw the message from the Ace of Spades, he was left completely speechless. Who on earth negotiates like this? Lu Yue felt her cheeks burn. Those hundreds of millions. It felt as if her idol was actively mocking her. Lu Chen and the others still refused to drop the matter, but they didn't dare negotiate with the Ace of Spades anymore. In the end, they had no choice. The post was deleted for the sum of 300,000. But even by borrowing left and right, it still wasn't enough. They ended up being forced to tell their families about it. Ultimately, all the families pitched in. After all, as long as that post was online, it was their reputation on the line too. They couldn't just leave that garbage floating around on the internet indefinitely. Less than a minute after Lu Yue sent the money, the 3 posts on the campus network were all completely deleted. Lu Yue was stunned by her idol's speed, filled with pure admiration. At the same time, her heart bled from spending so much money. The next morning, when I went downstairs, the whole big family was already gathered. No one had started eating yet. They were all waiting for me to come down. Everyone greeted me enthusiastically. Their eagerness was such that they looked like a real family. I found it pretty hilarious. The power of the Gu family and Guangantang is truly immense. It forced this bunch of people who despised me in my past life, who insulted and tortured me at their whim to wag their tails in front of me like dogs. But their fake smiles don't faze me at all. This affection that you can only get through cash. I don't want any of it now, especially coming from these disgusting people in the Lu family. During breakfast, I looked for trouble at every single moment. Whatever Lu Chen wanted to eat, I snatched it right from him. When Lu Chen glared at me 1 or 2 times too many, I beat him to the punch by saying, "Why do you always have to want whatever I want to eat? It's probably because your zodiac signs aren't compatible." It was Lu Yangxin who stepped up to defend Lu Chen. I directly questioned her big sister. "You don't happen to have some secret relationship with Lu Chen, do you? You guys aren't lovers, right? Yeah, otherwise, why be so nice to a mere adopted son?" After I shut Lu Yangxin down, Lu Chen whispered to his big sister, "Big brother is just like that. A total nobody with zero manners, yeah." But he didn't expect that I would hear his words loud and clear, said in an icy tone. "Isn't it normal that I have no manners? Don't you all call me a nobody? Yeah, you. Lu Chen, did you forget? My parents were too busy raising you." Saying that, I stood up, flipped the table with both hands, and then stormed off in a fury. Behind me, the screams of the Lu family sound particularly sweet to my ears. Qiu Rong, still shaking all over, stares at the total chaos on the floor. Beside herself, she explodes. "So he's the one you absolutely insisted on keeping. Look at this complete disaster. Ever since he came back, our family hasn't had a single moment of peace." Lu Shanghai shoots her a freezing glare. "If you're just going to talk nonsense, shut the hell up." But suddenly slap. Lu Shanghai slaps her violently across the face. "Have you already forgotten what I told you yesterday? Oh, yeah, if he rejects us so aggressively right now, solely because when he first came back, his own mother failed to stand up for him. It's only natural that he holds a bit of a grudge, no?" Qiurong covers her face. Even though her heart is bursting with resentment, she doesn't dare utter another word. Lu Shanghai then turns to Lu Yangxin and you. "Is this how you behave as an elder sister? You know perfectly well that Gu Qichuan has Guangantang backing him up, and you keep looking down on him. But Dad, look at this complete carnage." Lu Yangxin is also extremely annoyed. Lu Chen speaks up in a weak voice. "Dad, I didn't do it on purpose. I didn't think Big Brother would get this mad at me over something so minor." Enough cuts off Lu Shanghai. "Lu Shen, you don't know your place. It's only natural that Gu Qichuan doesn't like you. Why do you always insist on making him angry? Can't you just shut your mouth and stay quiet?" "For once, yeah. Lu Shanghai was truly exasperated. Seeing the pale, serious face of Lu Shanghai and thinking of his alliance with the Lu family, his tone softens. I'm sorry, Dad was a bit too harsh just now. Liu Qin, I hope you can understand your father. Dad is doing his best to balance the relationship between you two. We've raised you for so many years. Of course, we don't want to see you suffer. Lu Qin nodded submissively, but deep down inside a freezing scoff echoed. Time flew by. In the blink of an eye, 2 months passed. I spent my days stirring up trouble at the Wu household, turning their place completely upside down. During this period, the 5 sisters, Lu Shanghai and Qiu Rong, took turns pestering me, demanding that I connect the Lu family with Guangantang. I told them all to get lost. They also tried to go through Mu Wanning, but to no avail. The Lu family's patience was slowly wearing thin. Lu Shanghai's attitude toward me was no longer as welcoming as before. It was only because he remembered that the Gu family was backing me up that he didn't cross the line. Lu Yangxin slams the table in anger. Hey, you handed me a blank sheet of paper. Someone like you is a total waste of national education resources. Even a pig taking this exam would get a better grade than you. Why does someone like you even take the baccalaureate? Why? Just go back to the farm. Because of the connections with Mu Wanning and Guangantang, Lu Yangxin could only dump all of her anger onto me. I didn't expect that Lu Yangxin, after holding it in for 2 months, would throw a tantrum right here at school. And to my great surprise, Lu Qin couldn't help himself either. Ms. Lu, you know very well that Gu Qichuan was just a country kid. How could he have received that level of education? So it's only normal that he turned in a blank sheet. Yeah, that's true. Ms. Lu, he's just a poor boy. Did you really expect him to understand such complex questions? How was only able to get into this school purely because of his family's money? Oh, how tragic. Having someone like him in our class just lowers the bar for everyone. Lu Chen jumped on the opportunity. They couldn't help but roast him. He definitely hadn't forgotten the grudge from that day. Someone got the ball rolling. Ouyang Nala couldn't sit still either. They all started talking. Lu Yangxin intentionally did nothing to stop them. She was watching me the entire time, thinking I was about to explode with anger. But she didn't expect my face to be so calm. As if their words didn't affect me at all. She exploded with rage. Do you have no shame? Can't you study seriously? No, hello, Ms. Teacher, I interrupted. I turn in a blank copy because the exam is too simple. If I don't listen carefully in class, it's because your level of teaching is mediocre. Besides, I already know everything you teach. There's nothing you have that's worth my learning. Barely had I uttered those words, that the entire class fell dead silent. Nobody would have imagined that I would talk that way. Mu Wanning burst out laughing and said nonchalantly, Ku Qichuan, leave the teacher a little dignity. Mr. Lu might be a bit stupid and a bit dumb, but he's not totally devoid of qualities. We need to take care of people with mental disabilities. Yangxin's face turned as black as the bottom of a cooking pot. Hey, my level of teaching is mediocre. You already know everything I teach. No, what arrogance. In that case, take this mock exam this very day. Let me see if you're a genius or an idiot. I leaned back in my chair and said in a drawl, it's just an exam. I'm not scared. Hey, no, it's just that I find it totally pointless. What a perfect opportunity, Lu Chen immediately piped up. What do you propose then? To make it interesting. Why don't we add a bet? No. Yeah, he has been here for 2 months now. No matter the class. He has never seen me seriously pay attention. Every single exam. He turned in a blank copy except for that one single question. He got right on the first day. Lu Chen was getting more and more convinced that I just got lucky and had simply stumbled upon a question that I happened to know. After holding it in for 2 months, Lu Chen urgently needed to vent. If he could seize this chance to humiliate me, it would be perfect. A bet. My interest is suddenly revived. I sat up straight. Now, this is getting interesting. How do you want to bet? Or rather, how do you all want to bet? No, it's no fun with just the 2 of us. If we're doing this, we're all doing it together. Lu Chen looked at me full of confidence. For this exam, if you get a better score than me, I'll clean the toilets for a month. If you can't pull it off, you're the one who cleans the toilets for a month. Hello, so I want to make myself become the toilet director for a month. I furrowed my brows. This kind of bet disgusted me a little. Even if I win, it wouldn't really amount to much, no. Seeing that I wasn't saying anything, Lu Chen continued to provoke me. Are you scared or what? Didn't you just say that you already know everything the teacher teaches? This bet is seriously pointless. Lu Yangxin knew that Lu Chen had done extremely well on this mock exam. She eagerly jumped into the conversation. Then what do you want to bet, huh? We'll go along with you. I cracked a smirk. My days have been a bit boring. Now, these people are lining up to entertain me. It's pretty hilarious. After thinking about it for a moment, I prefer things that are a bit more concrete. I assume you all have real estate property under your names, right? Lu Chen's face froze. He didn't expect me to make such a high-stakes play. A piece of real estate. That was his final safety net. In case he ever got kicked out of the Lu family, that would be all he had left. Lu Chen began to hesitate. Sure, let's bet. Fine. But what are you going to put up, huh? You only have 2 houses under your name that'll never be enough. Lu Yangxin shot a look at Lu Chen, urging him to stay calm. He was the one who had graded Lu Chen's physics exam. This time, his performance had been exceptional. Aside from the final major problem, which was a bit outside the curriculum and cost him 10 points, Lu Chen had only lost 2 points on all the other questions. He scored a 98. And as for that final problem, nobody in the entire school had managed to solve it. She definitely wasn't going to buy my nonsense about knowing everything she had taught. Reassured by his big sister's words, Lu Qian was full of confidence. Let's just bet and get it over with. Who's scared of who? Niman. Coming to his senses, chimed into me too. I'm betting against you. Gu Qichuan, your 2 houses won't be enough to compensate all of us. What will you do if you lose then? Seeing that they were all betting Niman, Ouyang Nala and Lu Yue didn't want to be left behind either. They all offered to bet against me, their mocking glares, fixed on me, backing me into a corner. After all, in their eyes, I didn't have the means to keep up. Yejing provoked me, then tell us. How are you going to do this if your stake isn't enough, or else? Ask your classmates if anyone wants to bet with you. He swept his gaze across the classroom. Dead silence. Nobody wanted to bet with me. Just as he was about to throw another jab at me, Mu Wanning spoke up. I'll bet with him if he loses. I'm the one you will ask for all the compensation. And what are you basing that on? The stake of 5 people. With what did Mu Wanning plan to pay all by herself? Is Guang Antang enough for you? Sneered Mu Wanning. If you win our Guang Antang will continue to supply the pills to the Ouyang family. Deal. At the words Guang Antang, Lu Qin and the others fell completely silent. Their families had talked to them a lot about it lately, so they knew exactly what that name represented. So hearing Mu Wanning mention Guang Antang again and remembering the importance their parents placed on it, they immediately changed their tone. Alright, all you have to do is introduce us to the manager of Guang Antang. Mu Wanning didn't refuse. Deal. Anyway, Ko Qichuan won't lose. Hearing Mu Wanning's agreement, Lu Shen and the others were thrilled. They couldn't wait to immediately announce this good news to their families. Lu Yangxin pulled out my blank copy. Come get your sheet and start the test right now. I didn't budge. Real estate properties don't all have the same value. The location, the floor, the layout, all of that makes the price vary. I will never let myself get played. Before starting the test, I verified the property information with Lu Chen and the others. Estimate its approximate value. They all offered to bet against me, their mocking glares fixed on me, putting me in a corner. After all, in their eyes, I didn't have the means to keep up. Niman then provoked me, tell us. Then what do you do if your stake isn't enough? Or maybe, ask your classmates if anyone wants to bet with you? He scanned the classroom with his gaze. A heavy silence fell. Nobody wanted to bet with me. Just as he was about to throw another jab at me, Mu Wanning spoke up. I'm betting with him. If he loses, you can come to me for all the compensations. And what are you basing that on? The stake of 5 people. How did Mu Wanning plan to pay for it all on her own? Is Guang Antang enough for you guys? Mu Wanning scoffed. If you win our Guang Antang will continue to supply the Ouyang families pills. Deal. At the mention of Guang Antang, Lu Qin and the others instantly went silent. Their families. I've been talking about it a lot lately, so they knew exactly what that name represented. So upon hearing Mu Wanning mention Guang Antang again, and remembering the importance their parents placed on it, they immediately changed their tune. Fine, you just have to introduce us to the head of Guang Antang. Mu Wanning didn't refuse. Deal. In any case, Gu Qichuan won't lose. Hearing Mu Wanning's agreement, Lu Shen and the others were thrilled. They couldn't wait to immediately announce this good news to their families. Lu Yangxin pulled out my blank copy. Come get your sheet and start the test right now. I didn't budge. Real estate properties don't all have the same value. The location, the floor, the layout, all of that changes the price. I'm never letting myself get ripped off. Before starting the test, I verified the property information with Lu Chen and the others. He quickly arrived at the final question. With a single glance, the pupils of Lu Yangxin abruptly contracted. Ha even raised his hand to rub his eyes. The final question was a bit outside the curriculum. Not a single student in the whole school had managed to solve it. And not only had I solved it, but I had even listed several different resolution methods. You have to understand that he himself only knew one of them. It was quite simply unbelievable. And there was something else he didn't want to admit, was that by looking at my different solutions, he had actually learned a lot himself. So Lu Yangxin just couldn't accept it. He couldn't bear losing to me. Losing to this person he deeply despised. Han therefore went back to the first page and checked everything again from the very beginning to see if there was anything he might have missed, a spot where he could dock some points. Seeing Lu Yangxin flip through the copy over and over again, hearts of Niman and the others tightened. I called out to him in a mocking tone, Mr. Lu, don't waste everyone's time. You've reread the copy several times now. Hurry up and give us the score. Every single eye in the classroom was fixed on Lu Yangxin. Even if he didn't want to admit it or even believe it, he had to announce the result. Gu Qichuan's copy got a perfect score. This sentence exploded in the ears of the entire class. How is this even possible? I expected me to win this time. But how could I get a perfect score? Lu Qin and the others could barely stand up their hearts, tightening at the thought of losing 2 apartments. They had already lost a lot of money because of the post-deletion incident. And now, losing 2 more apartments, just thinking about it, made their hearts bleed. I waved the paper with the property info in my hand. Thanks for the gift. Guys, I turned to Muwaning. I just won the money of a few idiots. Tonight, let's have dinner together to celebrate. Seeing me so happy, Muwaning was also very happy. The word let's especially touched her, and a sweet warmth flooded her heart. Muwaning said with a beaming face, I'll handle the reservation. Impossible, screamed Niman, he who was hoping to take advantage of this opportunity to get closer to Konggantang. How could he have won? Then he thought back to his 2 apartments. Niman's heart ached painfully. He strode over to the desk, snatched my copy out of his hands and examined it over and over. Lu Youngsin had already graded it, and it was covered in bright red marks. The crimson score was particularly glaring. Mocked Niman mercilessly, you absolute good-for-nothing. Do you even have a brain to understand this? Niman was furious. He felt like stepping forward to slap me. Your tongue is pure poison. I locked eyes with him and said in a meaningful tone, did I say something wrong? Can a piece of trash like you, with an underdeveloped brain and an atrophied cerebellum, actually understand anything? Watch your attitude and the words you use. Miss Lu, aka Lu Yangsin, stepped in to defend him. She couldn't stand my aggressive demeanor. Ms. Lu, my words might be harsh, but it's the truth. My attitude is actually pretty good. Lu Yangsin's face turned pale. She slammed the table. Shouldn't you be a little more modest, huh? What is this? Is this any way to talk to your classmates? All those years of studying, did they just go down the drain or what? I jumped up and slammed the table in turn, even harder than Lu Yangsin, leaving her absolutely no way out. When I was modest, you treated me like an idiot. Yeah, is this how you do your job as a teacher? Is this your way of educating students? No, frankly. You're the one who threw all your studies down the drain, yeah. In my opinion, you are exactly like Niman. Good-for-nothings with an underdeveloped brain and an atrophied cerebellum, knowing only one method to solve the final problem. If that's not being an idiot, then what is? Lu Yangsin reacted quickly, trying to save face. Who said I only knew one method? Everything you wrote on your copy I already knew. You just wrote it down before I did. I was planning to wait until I graded the exercise for you guys to explain all of that in detail. She had just studied it attentively and had practically memorized everything. Who could prove that she didn't know it beforehand? Yeah, it didn't surprise me at all that she could say something so shameless. Immediately shot back, really, Ms. Lu, since you're so talented, you should know that this problem actually has 2 more solutions. I didn't write them down due to a lack of space on the sheet. So please, Ms. Lu, explain them to us in detail. I would love to discuss it with you. Lu Yangsin's face tensed up upon seeing my triumphant look. You didn't need to be a psychic. Understand that I was setting a trap for her. Our teacher's brain started working at top speed. She was looking for other ways to solve the problem. But no matter how hard she thought, her mind was completely blank. No time was ticking away. Don't tell me. No, Ms. Lu, you don't know them, do you? If you don't know, you can humbly ask me to explain them to you. I won't make fun of you, no. Lu Yangsin squeezed the exam copy tighter in her hand. She wished I would shut up right then and there. But after a moment, Lu Yangsin relaxed her brows. To be frank, regarding the final problem, I indeed do not know any other solutions. Since Student Ku knows them, then I am going to ask him to come up to the podium to explain this exercise to us. That way, the other students can learn and I myself, her teacher, will listen attentively. Since she couldn't hide the fact that she didn't know the answer, she might as well frankly admit it. She wanted to see if I had actually been hiding my true power or if I had set a trap for her. Without saying a word, I walked up to the podium. Our gazes locked. My eyes were bloodshot. I started writing frantically on the blackboard. Every single eye in the class was glued to the board. After writing down the other 2 solutions, I took the piece of chalk I had in my hand and tossed it with perfect accuracy right into the chalk box. So, Ms. Lu, is there any mistake in this proof? Lu Yangsin's face went through every color of the rainbow. Finally, she forced a smile. Student Gu is indeed very talented. A student has surpassed the master. Having a student as brilliant as you is a source of great pride for a teacher. I shot her a look. Today, Lu Yangsin was acting pretty strange. I had a feeling she was plotting some dynamic scheme. And sure enough, she was looking at me with a huge smile. Since Student Ku is so talented, this teacher will ask you a few questions to test you. What do you think? I'd like to see if your skill level is consistent, or if there's another reason for this. After all this exam paper was already handed out, you already knew the questions in advance. Iman immediately blurted out. The exam paper was handed out before if you leaked the questions in advance to prep your answers. Whether it's for that final major problem or getting a perfect score, none of that is actually hard. For the sake of fairness, I think Miss Lu is absolutely right. Let Ms. Lu verify your skills. That's the only way to convince us. Since you're so OP, a little test won't scare you, right? Lu Yangsin said with a gleeful look. Knowing my academic record, it was impossible for Lu Yangsin to believe in my abilities. She was just thoroughly convinced that I had cheated, that I had rigged everything from the start. A glimmer of hope appeared in Niman and the others. Maybe they still had a chance to build connections with Konggantang. They were all subconsciously convinced that I was cheating. Yeah, and I didn't try to back down. Fine, no problem. Then I'm listening. Ms. Lu, give us your problem. Lu Yongxin was absolutely thrilled. He quickly wrote a problem on the board. Mowaning and I looked at the familiar problem. A look of complete shock in our eyes. We had seriously underestimated Lu Yongxin's thick skin. We knew that she would deliberately try to put me on the spot, asking questions outside the curriculum. But we didn't expect her to be this low. The problem she wrote down was a question originally asked by the famous physicist Xiaohua. Zhouke has an account on Weibo, where he regularly posts very interesting problems to discuss them with everyone. And this problem was exactly the one that Zhouke had published just a short while ago. Lu Yongxin still hasn't managed to solve it herself. Yeah, frankly, Lu Yongxin, you outdid yourself. She is using my own problem to test me. Lu Yongxin noticed my gaze and looked away with a guilty air to ensure my absolute defeat. She directly used the problem from her idol, Xiaohua. She doesn't believe for a second that I can solve this. But thinking about it, aside from physics fanatics, nobody really follows this kind of stuff on Weibo. Lu Yongxin reassured herself, a bit clearing her throat. This problem is quite difficult, but if you manage to solve it, we will believe in your true capabilities. We will also believe that you didn't cheat in advance. This is the only way for you to win fair and square. Looking at the problem, the students in the class were completely lost. Forget about the solution. I don't even understand the wording of the problem. I didn't rush to answer her question, and instead said with a detached air that solving the problem wasn't the hardest part. Following what just happened, I've started to have serious doubts about Ms. Lu's skills. How about we do it like this? Ms. Lu and I at the same time on the board. We both write down our resolution methods. I'd really like to test Ms. Lu's skills, myself, to see if she's actually cut out for her job, and everyone can see for themselves. Yongxin stared at me with pure suspicion, sensing well that I had no good intentions. What if I didn't know how to solve this problem either? Up there, Lu Yongxin was desperately looking for a way to turn down my proposal. Otherwise, she would find herself in a very tight spot. It was at that exact moment that Lu Xin was the first to speak up. Ms. Lu, face him. Show him that there's always a bigger fish, and that one should never underestimate others. Ms. Lu, accept Ku Tikichuan's challenge. Shut his mouth once and for all. Lu Wachimed and Ms. Lu face off against him. We have full confidence in you, Niman. Wanting to be left out. Also wanted Lu Yongxin to face off against me as soon as possible, to prove that I wasn't capable of it, and that I had cheated in advance. That way, they wouldn't have to give up their houses and could even force Mo wanting to keep her promise. Lu Yongxin instantly panicked. Nobody could have ever imagined that the very problem she had put on the board didn't actually know how to solve herself. She suddenly found herself in an impossible situation. If she had known it would end like this, she would never have picked such a complex problem. But if it hadn't been that complex, she feared it wouldn't be enough to trap me. Seeing her in this state, Wanting found it rather amusing. It was the classic case of the biter getting bit. She mimicked my tone from earlier. Ms. Lu, you're not going to tell me that you don't know the answer yourself, otherwise, why are you so reluctant? Lu Yongxin was absolutely losing it. In the end, she thought, to hell with it, let's do this challenge. She was thoroughly convinced that I wouldn't pull it off either. With such a high-level problem, she was sure the others wouldn't understand a single thing anyway. She would just need to write any random nonsense on the board in a moment, making it look extra complicated, and she could easily fool them. Who could tell if she's right or wrong? After pulling herself together, she declared with a newfound confidence, very well, I accept your proposal. We will write down our resolution methods together on the board. I am curious to see if student Gu is going to surprise us again by writing a different resolution method. Lu Yongxin and I then stood on opposite sides of the blackboard. As the countdown began, both of us picked up a piece of chalk and started solving the problem. Lu Yongxin already had her plan in mind. She was going to reuse the method of another problem that she had seen before and apply it here. In any case, nobody would see the difference. Lu Yongxin's speed was impressive. She knew the resolution of that other problem by heart. But I was even faster. Up there, Lu Yongxin hadn't even finished writing when I had already put down my chalk. The students below were completely stunned by my speed, and they started whispering among themselves. Wow, is Gu Qichuan really that cracked? I even finished before Miss Lu. Oh, he's a total genius, honestly. What's the point of being fast? Anyone can just scribble down any random nonsense. What's impressive is actually getting the right answer. Okay. Mu Wanning slammed her desk. A dead silence immediately fell over the classroom. Niman and the others were green with envy. Why on earth would Mu Wanning support me? Lu Yongxin found it almost hilarious. This problem was asked by her idol Xiaohua. How could I possibly solve it, still just as fast? He doesn't even bother to fake it. At that moment, Lu Yongxin must be thinking that she doesn't even need to look at what I wrote. In any case, I've already lost. A long moment passed. Lu Yongxin finally put down the chalk she was holding and pushed back the mobile board that stood between us. She absolutely wanted to see what kind of gibberish I had written. She had even already rigged everything in her head. She was celebrating early, excited to mock me. But upon seeing my solution, the smile on Lu Yongxin's face froze instantly. She looked at it again, more closely. Her heart was in absolute shambles. It looked like Gu Qichuan actually managed to solve the problem. How is this even possible? This is a problem posted by Xiaohua, and up until now, nobody has managed to solve it. Yeah, it's quite simply impossible. But what was written on the board reminded her that I was right. She couldn't help but think, so this problem could actually be solved like that. And why didn't I think of it myself? She felt a complex mix of excitement and disbelief. Yet her face remained deadpan. She couldn't losing to someone she deeply despises would be a permanent stain on her life. Seeing that she wasn't saying anything, I spoke up first. Ms. Lu, shouldn't we check now to see if the other's solution is correct? Lu Yongsin pulled herself together and said, is that even necessary? What you wrote is absolutely riddled with mistakes. Lu Yangxin, being a sore loser, was standard procedure. Lu Yangxin picked up a piece of chalk, walked over to my solution, and started by drawing a massive X over it. Next, she started correcting my work. Can't you think a little bit? You can't even solve a problem this simple, while continuing to say that I was acting in bad faith. She even claimed that I had a moral issue. I just laughed in anger at this point, honestly. This ability that Lu Yangxin has to lie so shamelessly, she really is just like Lu Chen in that regard. The problem was way too complex. Not a single student in the class could understand it. Before, when the teacher criticized me like this, everyone would automatically assume she was right. They all started throwing shade at me. And to think I took him for a real genius. In reality, he just cheated. It's truly disgusting, stupid, and malicious. And he's still thinking about scamming people to take their houses. If Miss Lu hadn't implied that Gu Qichuan could have leaked the exam in advance, I would have thought he was actually OP. How disgusting. Mu Wanning stood up, her voice ringing out loud. The moment she spoke, all the other students turned to look at her. Iman and the others got a pleasant surprise, thinking that Mu Wanning had finally seen my true colors. They were all completely thrilled about it. Lu Xin was even more excited. Without that connection to Kwang Antang, I would have absolutely no value left, and the Lu family wouldn't have to walk on eggshells around me anymore. It would then be super easy for him to get me kicked out of the Lu family. Mu Wanning sneered coldly. I was saying that Lu Yangxin is the one who is stupid and malicious. Lu Yangxin yelled back in anger. Mu Wanning, watch your attitude and your words. Ms. Lu, did I say anything wrong, huh? Mu Wanning strode toward her with a resolute step. Her aura was so imposing that Lu Yangxin was momentarily unable to fight back. In an instant, Mu Wanning had already arrived right in front of her. Lu Yangxin instinctively took a step back and asked, anxious, what do you think you're doing? Mu Wanning grabbed her arm, making her grimace in pain. Ms. Lu, don't be so tense. I just wanted to borrow a piece of chalk, that's all. Taking the chalk from her hands, Mu Wanning shoved her aside and cast a glance at the students down below the podium. It's not without reason that I said Lu Yangxin is both stupid and wicked. Our classmate Gu's solution is perfectly correct, while the one from Lu Yangxin is nothing but a bunch of absolute nonsense. When you don't know, you don't know. You just have to admit your own mediocrity. Her wickedness lies in having used her status as a teacher to falsely accuse classmate Gu of getting the problem wrong. Mu, holding chalk in hand, first dismantled point by point the solution from Lu Yangxin and then, mimicking her very own tone, she humiliated her in return, concluding in one sentence, 0 skills, 0 talent, 0 morality, unworthy of being a teacher. After finishing up with Lu Yangxin's case, Mu Wanning went on to explain my solution. Up there, Lu Yangxin stumbled slightly, trying to maintain her composure as she said, Mu Wanning, on what grounds do you claim my solution is wrong? It seems you only understand when you're completely backed into a corner. Mu Wanning pulled out her phone, connected it to the projector and displayed her screen. Mu Wanning opened Weibo and searched for Xiaohua. At that exact moment, Lu Yangxin truly began to panic. How could she even know Xiaohua? She took a step forward in an attempt to stop her, but I stepped right in front of her, my tone icy. Ms. Lu, what are you doing? Mu Wanning is currently explaining the solution to us. Mu Wanning quickly located the problem from today and explained who Xiaohua was on Weibo. Xiaohua's problem, even experts in the field have to spend a massive amount of time to solve it, and yet Lu Yangxin dared to use a problem from Xiaohua to put our classmate Gu in a difficult spot. The funniest part is that Lu Yangxin herself doesn't even know how to solve this problem. Mu Wanning scrolled down the screen to an old post by Xiaohua on Weibo. That post featured another problem, and right there in the comments section was the solution. Upon opening it, everyone could see it was identical to the one written by Lu Yangxin. Taking advantage of the fact that the students wouldn't understand, she took the solution from a completely different problem and copied it, word for word, passing it off as the solution to today's problem, and after that, she had the nerve to look down on her classmate Gu and claim without any shame that she was right. The entire classroom fell dead silent. Yeah, the gaze of Mo Wanning finally locked on to Lu Yangxin. Lu Yangxin, did I say a single false thing? Tell me, what exactly gives you the right to be a teacher? She said it without sugarcoating a single thing. The classroom was in complete uproar. The students, now knowing the absolute truth, looked at Lu Yangxin in a completely different light. They had always believed that teachers were highly competent. Never would they have imagined she was less skilled than a student. Lu Yangxin's face turned crimson. The students' glares felt like slaps raining down on her face. At that very moment, she wanted to crawl into a hole and hide. But I had no intention of letting her get away with it like that, yeah. Lu Yangxin, shouldn't you apologize to your own student you, who are supposed to be a role model? Do I really have to be the one to teach you that? Lu Yangxin felt the ultimate level of humiliation, her eyes shooting venomous glares. I stepped forward and grabbed her. She struggled to escape but couldn't move an inch. Hurry up and apologize to the whole class. Just a friendly piece of advice: if you don't apologize, Lu Yangxin don't even hope to ever get back up. I'm sorry. I pretended to pick my ear. The sound is too low, we can't hear a thing. Lu Yangxin raised her voice while gritting her teeth. I'm sorry, it's my fault. I shrugged my shoulders and looked at her with an icy glare. Don't forget about the house deal. I know you have zero morals, so I'm afraid you might back out. I prefer to remind you in advance. With that, I let go of Lu Yangxin and went back to my seat. I had left it on the table, the micro camera hidden inside the books. I retrieved it and put together an edit. The video of the showdown with Lu Yangxin, as well as the part where I blast her afterward. I leaked it online. Lu Yangxin will be the first person I destroy. First ruin her reputation, then make her die in agonizing pain. A teacher like that is not worthy of teaching. Get her out of the school, get her out of the education world. And that's not all. The personal information of Lu Yangxin was also exposed. People found out she was a young master of the Lu family. The Lu family's business was also hit, so some netizens have already started to boycott the company. It was at that exact moment that my identity was also exposed by the netizens. Of course, they could only uncover my surface identity. It turns out that I'm the biological brother of Lu Yangxin. And if Lu Yangxin harassed and insulted me like that, it was because this younger brother didn't grow up with her. I didn't try to hide this info. I even paid people to leak some of it. As for information on Muwaning, all the netizens could find was just her name. All other details remained completely unknown. Once my identity was revealed, the backlash against Lu Yangxin multiplied. This guy seriously has an issue, no way. He's relentlessly targeting his own brother. With the subtle help of Muwaning, the Lu family's company took a massive hit. Lu Yangxin was also temporarily suspended by the school, pending the investigation. After class, Muwaning and I went to Guangantang. The Ning family and the Ouyang family went there multiple times. They wanted to buy Guangantang's pills, but above all, call upon the divine doctor. All their bidding wars were rejected by the people of Guangantang. And that's not all. They even brought in people from the imperial capital, but it was completely useless. Guangantang never lets itself be threatened. After dinner, we discussed our next moves. Then Mu Wanning walked me back. Before going inside, I couldn't help but say, Wanning, you don't need to stay with me at school. I'll settle the Lu family matter very soon. You'd be better off going back. Take care of your other business. After all, every day after class, you have to handle a multitude of things, often working late into the night. Today, the business operations of Huang Antang and Kenglung all rest on your shoulders. Mu Wanning's gaze softened and a faint smile appeared on her lips. She murmured, Qichuan, are you worried that I'll be too tired? I nodded honestly. Mu Wanning is very important to me. If I was able to reach such a level in this life, and if I have the means to destroy the Lu family, it's in large part thanks to Mu Wanning's help. I'm extremely grateful to her. Mu Wanning raised her hand and tucked a strand of hair behind her ear, with that usual sweetness when she looks at Gu Qichuan. I want to be by your side, grow with you. I don't want to miss a single thing in your life. I didn't for a single second, faced with Mu Wanning's sudden confession. I didn't know how to react in the moment. We grew up together, to understand each other without needing to speak. How could Mu Wanning not know what I was thinking? I ruffled her hair. Don't overthink it. We have all the time in the world ahead of us. We still have plenty of time. Once Mu Wanning left, I finally went into the house. And without any surprise, all the members of the Lu family were waiting for me in the living room. Today, they were all making quite a face. It must be said that the incident with Lu Yangxin didn't just affect her alone. It also took a toll on the family business, and even the businesses of her 4 sisters. Everything was dug up and each of them got their share of insults. At that moment, the Lu family was truly getting lynched all over the internet. But as for me, the phone had been turned off since the afternoon. The lust couldn't get a hold of me. They must have been worried sick. Seeing me walk in, Lu Yurong was the first to speak. Oh, you finally deigned to come home, phone turned off. Furious, where were you slacking off again? I shot him a glare. Lu Yurong took a step back in fear. But thinking that the whole family was mad at me, he regained a bit of confidence. He raised his chin slightly and said angrily, Why are you staring at me? Did I say something wrong? Don't you know? You're supposed to come home after class. And you don't even answer the phone. This is unacceptable. I cracked my knuckles, walking right up to Lu Yurong. And so, what do you plan to do? Huh, wanna catch hands? Lu Yurong's face turned completely green. What awful luck to deal with someone who was so prone to violence. My gaze swept across the members of the Lu family one by one. The anger was still visible on their faces, yet nobody dared to speak up anymore. I sneered. If there's nothing else, I'm heading back to my room. Yeah, go. Qichuan was called out by Lushan. Have you seen what's happening on Weibo? Yeah, I nodded. Seeing that I wasn't saying anything, Luchan had to continue. This matter started because of you, and the impact on the company is massive. You need to help the company and your eldest sister get through this crisis. In reality, Lu Shan was absolutely furious, but he was holding back for other reasons. He was suppressing his anger with all his might. How exactly does this matter concern me? The instigators of this whole thing, aren't they your dear son Lu Chen and your dear daughter Lu Yangxin? Yeah, they're the ones who triggered everything. As for me, I only accepted the challenge. Oh, by the way, about those 2 apartments, Lu Chen, don't forget to transfer the property titles. Lu Chen was totally lost. Right now, you're the only one who can fix this problem. If he had any other solution, he wouldn't have waited until now. I also knew that Lowe's were completely shameless and fully owned it. I said in a casual tone, "Is this how you ask for a favor?" On the side, Lu Yuk couldn't take it anymore and snapped, "Gukichuan, you are also part of the Lu family. It's only natural that you put in effort for the family. You know very well what happened today, brother. Do you realize the gravity of the losses for the company? You don't want to see the Lu family's business suffer such losses, right? We are from the same family. It's normal to do your best for the family. Besides, this matter concerns you too." Lu Chen agreed from the side. And the others also started to speak up. "Kichuan, as for what happened today, it's our eldest sister's fault. Please be magnanimous and let it slide. Help the family get through this crisis." Even though her heart was filled with resentment, Lu Yangxin had no choice but to swallow her pride. "Kichuan, we are from the same family. The company's losses are our family's losses. Your second sister knows your capabilities. If you step in, our company can not only make up for the losses, but even reach a whole new level." Hearing that, I finally understood. You didn't need to be a genius to guess that they wanted Guangantang's help. With the help of Guangantang, even the biggest crisis can be overcome. Once again, the Lu family managed to blow me away. The audacity of these people is limitless. I burst out laughing. Regarding the company's matter, I can't do anything. But as for the house, Lu Xin, you're going to have to cough it up. Otherwise, I'll beat you up every time I see you. Hearing my refusal, Lu Xian also lost his temper. "Kukichuan, you refuse to help us even for such a small thing." His tone was no longer as amiable as before. After almost 2 months of trying to please them, he still hadn't managed to establish contact with Guang Antang. Lu Shan's patience was gradually wearing out. Not to mention that the Lu family's company was currently in a major crisis. A small thing. Just who do you think Guang Antang is? You think it's a place where one can just walk in as they please? Frankly, do you even think you're worthy? Lu Shan clenched his fists. Yeah, my words were extremely hurtful. Before, of course, he would have never dared to think about it. But me, a mere country boy, managed to get in touch with Guangantang. So why couldn't their family, the Lu family, with the words, rose to his throat, but he swallowed them back down, suppressing his displeasure as his tone returned to how it was before. He began to speak in a serious and sincere tone. "Kichuan, I know the people of Guangantang are not easy to deal with, but this time our company is at stake. If you can't help us establish a connection, I at least hope you will cooperate with the company to overcome this crisis. You are part of this family too." I didn't argue. It was mostly to see just how far the Lu family's shamelessness could go, and besides, giving them a little hope just to crush it later was also an option. Seeing that I wasn't protesting, Lu Xian tried in a hesitant voice, "Kichuan, all you need to do is clarify on the internet that everything that happened today was just a scripted skit. Then you'll make an appearance with your eldest sister to explain everything, in order to let the outside world know that there is zero issue in your brother-sister relationship." No, I didn't directly answer his question. Instead, shifting my gaze to Lu Yangxin. "Lu Yangxin, is this your idea between us, is it? Really necessary to play out a comedy of sibling love? You disgust me." "No." Lu Yangxin's face turned completely red. If she could, she obviously wouldn't want to play along with this farce with me. But this was the only solution she had. She opened her mouth about to speak. I immediately cut her off. "I will not cooperate with you guys. Yeah, facts are facts. If anyone is to blame, blame your Lu family's terrible upbringing for raising such a piece of trash. As for how to solve this problem, that's for you guys to worry about. It's none of my business. Bye, I am determined to completely wipe out." Lu Yangxin, my repeated defiance made Lu Xian absolutely furious. He slammed his fist on the table and stood up, ready to give me a lecture. I spoke up again, "We can sever ties. But for everything else, it's non-negotiable." Sever ties, this single phrase cut short everything Lu Xian was about to say. Sever ties. I have the Ji family from the imperial capital behind me. How could he ever dare to give that up? At this stage, Lu Xian was in a very delicate position. He couldn't manage to get along with me, or make me obey his every command, and at the same time, he couldn't bring himself to lose the support of the family, seeing me so unyielding. Louis Chan was inwardly thrilled. He rushed to step in to make himself look good, declaring with a heartbroken expression, "Big brother, we are a family after all. Yeah, for you, this is clearly such a simple thing. Why do you stubbornly refuse to help us? Do you know that today's events haven't just affected the company? They are also going to ruin our big sister." Hearing that, Lu Yangxin felt a bit relieved. To her, Lu Yichan was a true little brother. Lu Yichan observed the faces of the other Lu family members. Taking a few steps, he came right in front of me. Begged me in a tearful voice, "Big brother, what will it take for you to help our big sister, for you to help the Lu family? As long as you agree, I'm willing to get down on my knees to beg you. With these words, he dropped to his knees with a dull thud. I was so fast that nobody in the Lu family had time to react. Seeing Louis-chan go this far for the family, Luz all felt a bit guilty. Since my return, they all knew that Louis-chan had suffered many injustices. They didn't expect that he would be capable of sacrificing himself to this extent for the family at such a moment. I must admit that Louis-chan has some serious nerve. I almost admire him. With this kneeling stunt, if I agree to help, the Lu family will be grateful to Louis-chan, believing that he convinced me. And if I refuse to help in comparison to him, the family's esteem for him will skyrocket. How could I let him achieve his goals? I grabbed him by the chin. Helping you isn't impossible, but I have one condition. Louis-chan replied with absolute fervor, making it, as long as you agree to help, I will accept any of your conditions. I want you to leave the Lu family, leave the villa, and never come back. Louis-chan really didn't expect me to make such a demand. His expression froze right on his face. If the others hadn't been there, Louis-chan would have burst into insults. I didn't give him time to think and pushed further. So you refuse? No, yeah, didn't you say that for the Lu family? You were ready to do anything. Yeah, Gu Qichuan. Yeah, if you don't want to help, fine. But how can you persecute him like that? Screamed Lu Yangxin, completely beside herself. I knew you couldn't handle it. How can you be so shameless? Making such an odious demand, Ya Lu. Ichan didn't say a word, tears flowing continuously down his face, breaking Lu Yangxin's heart. He walked over to help Lu Yichan up. Kokichuan, as long as I am here, don't even hope to target Yichan. She tried to persuade her father, Dad. Helping our family overcome this crisis is the absolute least he can do. Lu Zhen was obviously not going to accept this condition. The benefits I could bring him were certainly enticing, but all of that was just a promise. Whereas the situation between Lu Yichan and Ye Qing was much more secure. They are a couple childhood friends. Their relationship is rock solid. He couldn't sacrifice that for an uncertain future. He couldn't drop a bird in the hand for two in the bush. Over these past 2 months, Lu Zhen discovered that I was barely controllable. Yeah, truly a shame. I stood up. I wanted to help you, but since you guys don't agree, then let's just drop it. With these words, I started heading upstairs. I took 2 steps. Then I stopped. I said with a bright smile, by the way, has nobody watched the online video carefully? It's glaringly obvious though the angle of the camera. Don't you recognize where that person was sitting? Who was filming? It's so boring. If they are incapable of noticing it, all that's left is for me to spill the beans myself. Yangxin and the others immediately took out their phones. They launched today's video, too busy thinking about how to make me cooperate for their crisis management. They had completely forgotten this important detail. Yangxin, Lu Qin, and Lu Yu immediately recognized that the video had been filmed from my seat. Disbelief was written all over their faces. Lu Yangxin stared at me and with the voice trembling with disbelief, she articulated, "Gu Qichuan, freeze right there." Yeah, why did you do this to me? Lu Yangxin rushed up the stairs to block my way. Her face twisted with hatred, she screamed, "You bastard!" Her voice had jumped several octaves. I slapped her without hesitation. A woman who talks trash needs to be corrected. I declared in an icy tone, Lu Yangxin, if you hadn't crossed the line, how could I have caught you? A person, like you shouldn't be in contact with students. You're a public hazard. I did the community a service. And now, let's get back to business. Don't forget the transfer of property for the houses. Lu Yangxin was pale. Not only was her reputation destroyed, but she had also just lost 2 houses. How could she accept that? No, her rage turned into an evil laugh. The houses? Oh, you still want them? No. Keep dreaming. Lu Qin's heart felt lighter. No 3 ifs. Yangxin didn't give in. He wouldn't have to do it either. That's exactly the sentence I was waiting for. I suddenly raised my hand and grabbed her by the throat. I lifted her off the ground without the slightest effort. Lu Yangxin would have never imagined that I would dare to take action so directly. Both terrified and enraged, she struggled with all her might, but without managing to break free in the slightest. Panic was written in her eyes. Gu Qichuan let her go, then Lu Yurong rushed toward me first. But when she met my icy gaze, she froze dead in her tracks. At that exact moment, Lu Zhen's phone started ringing. His expression went from initial surprise to pure terror. He hung up and Lu Shan looked completely devastated. The call came from Guangantang. The people from Guangantang warned him that if Lu Yangxin continued to cross me, the entire Lu family would vanish. I didn't doubt Guangantang's capabilities for a single second. I never would have thought the people from Guangantang would go this far for me. He sighed and with a heavy heart decided to speak up. As for the houses, I will have your eldest sister. The others, put them under your name. A bet is a bet. Bet I threw Lu Yangxin to the ground, dusted off my hands, turned on my heels and went back to my room. Lu Sen didn't know how to describe what he was feeling. So the backing behind me is that massive, yet he had no way to get a piece of it, and it was eating him alive. He wanted to get closer to me, but in the end, the situation only got worse. Lu Sen was boiling with rage without any way to vent. Seeing Lu Yangxin's pitiful state, he completely lost his temper. He marched right up to her and kicked her. He seriously wanted to kill Lu Yangxin. I had told them 1,000 times not to cross me, but these fools never listened to anything. Their relationship degraded even further, and this time, It even affected the company. How could he not be furious? But at that moment, nobody else in the Lu family dared to reason with him. At the exact same time, the Ouyang, Guang, and Yi families all received a call from Guang Antang. So it was a warning. Transfer the houses to me obediently. They who thought they could wriggle out of it didn't dare try anything anymore. Mu Wanning told me everything. She wasn't going to keep that to herself. It was the perfect chance to score some points. In reality, even if Mu Wanning hadn't done anything, I would have found a way to get those houses. But I was still very happy nonetheless. After finishing our conversation, I opened Weibo to see how the matter was evolving. Everyone was throwing shade at the Lu family. After thinking for a moment, I logged into Xiaohua's Weibo account. The latest problem, following the exposure of the school video, already had its solution posted. So I thought about posting a new problem for everyone to solve. Out of habit, I glanced at the private messages. Aside from a few messages reminding me to watch the school video, I instantly noticed the one from Lu Yangxin. She had sent me a DM. Lu Yangxin wanted me to give her a problem. She needed a very, very difficult problem, supposedly for a university symposium. This problem would serve as the basis for discussion. I thought about it for a second and immediately figured out Lu Yangxin's little game. She definitely wanted to restore her reputation after being labeled as useless, and she planned to use Professor Xiaohua to do it. Except Lu Yangxin would have never imagined, even in her wildest dreams, that Xiaohua is actually me. This was getting very interesting. Yeah, obviously, I was going to grant her wish. I immediately drafted a problem, along with its solution. Only I tweaked this problem a little bit. In reality, it's unsolvable. I changed one tiny detail, but with her skill level. Lu Yangxin is completely incapable of spotting it. No matter what method Lu Yangxin uses to try and turn the tables, she will only make a fool of herself once again. She will never have the chance to make a comeback. Seeing the reply on the computer, Lu Yangxin was absolutely overjoyed. She was truly at the end of her rope. Sending a message to Professor Xiaohua was nothing but a desperate Hail Mary. What surprised her even more was that Professor Xiaohua had even sent her the solution. She jumped right up, completely thrilled, ready to throw down her challenge immediately. Not only would she solve the Lu family's crisis, but on top of that, she wants to use this chance to drag me through the mud. She's about to learn that there's always a bigger fish. However, I didn't think that Lu Yangxin would lose her cool so easily. I thought she would at least seriously study the topic before coming to see me. Leaning against the doorframe, I sized Lu Yangxin up from head to toe. The way I looked at her made Lu Yangxin very uncomfortable, so she quickly spoke up. Gu Qichuan, I want to make another bet with you. Do you dare? Yeah, her voice wasn't loud, but it was full of confidence. I can almost not wait for tomorrow, just to see her face when she finds out that I am Professor Xiaohua. Yeah, I didn't answer right away. Lu Yangxin thought I was genuinely scared and sneered. So you're scared? Yeah, if you admit defeat, I sneered. Yeah, betting against a scrub like you. I'm just afraid it'll ruin my reputation if word gets out. Yeah, so my words were incredibly hurtful. Lu Yangxin felt unbelievably humiliated. In her entire life, she had never suffered such an insult. Since she couldn't beat me up, she had to swallow her anger. She tried to control her temper and said, Gu Qichuan, if I lose, I will leave the school forever and never teach again in my life. Lu Yangxin, after what happened yesterday, do you really think you can even keep being a professor? I found it a bit ridiculous. Yeah, Lu Yangxin, you really have zero self-awareness. Lu Yangxin clenched her fists. She took a few deep breaths before continuing. Gu Qichuan, if I lose, I will publicly admit on the internet, under my real name, that I'm a scrub. And if you lose, you'll have to do the same. Yeah, and on top of that, you'll have to help the Lu family overcome this crisis. Do you dare? Now this was getting interesting. Lu Yangxin was my prime target anyway. Since she's looking for death, how could I not grant her that wish? I accepted without hesitation. Alright, thanks. I'll be waiting for you at school tomorrow afternoon. We can bet whatever you want. Tomorrow morning, Lu Yangxin was impatient. She was looking forward to seeing me ruined and discredited. I rolled my eyes. Then tomorrow morning, you must first go with Lu Chen and the others to transfer the house property to me. Before starting this bet, you must first honor the previous one, for fear that I might go back on my word. Lu Yangxin finally gave in, back in her room. She started thinking about how to confront me the next day. After some thought, she told herself she should find some important people to serve as witnesses. Lu Yangxin thought of the highly respected physicist Wu Ziwan. His testimony would give a lot of weight to the event. With that, she immediately pulled out her phone. She opened the chat window with Professor Wu Ziwan and started with a few pleasantries. Next, she sent him the problem from Professor Xiaohua. Professor Wu, as a modest junior, I would like to invite you to our school tomorrow to witness the story of a genius student. Lu Yangxin was full of confidence. The problem from Professor Xiaohua was definitely very difficult. What big shot wouldn't be thrilled at the sight of such a complex problem? And with my reputation as a genius student, how could Professor Wu refuse to come? Just as she expected, Wu Ziwan replied instantly. He agreed to come the following afternoon. Today, Lu Yangxin was absolutely delighted. Tomorrow, she could finally crush me. At that exact moment, Wu Ziwan immediately took a screenshot of his conversation with Lu Yangxin and sent it to me, saying humbly, Professor Xiaohua, see you tomorrow. I rubbed my temples, feeling a headache coming on. I closed WeChat without replying. But how on earth did Lu Yangxin manage to find WeChat? It's truly exasperating. Every single time I check WeChat, I can never escape his interrogation. Frankly, I regret recommending WeChat to him back then. Yeah, WeChat started ringing again. I was sick of it. I picked up my phone and replied to him. Chill out tomorrow, control yourself. If you ever blow my cover in advance, we are completely done. I received Professor Xiaohe's daily message, barely downstairs. I saw that the entire Lu family was pulling quite a face. I couldn't help but hum a tune. After sitting down, I said with a look of pure sincerity, "What a beautiful day. Isn't it? He is truly infuriating at every single moment." Lu Sang really wanted to flip the table and storm out. He feared a warning from Guangantang, so he just had to grit his teeth. As for me, I didn't leave them in peace the entire morning. One moment I was asking questions about the company, the next about the house of Lu Chen and the others. In short, it was pure and simple psychological torture. Their expressions looked exactly like someone who was constipated. They dreamed of shutting my mouth. Once full, I took a paper napkin next to me and wiped the corner of my lips before throwing the napkin right in Lu Yangxin's face. "See you later, scrub. And don't chickening out at the last moment." Lu Yangxin turned completely pale. She was burning with the urge to throw her bowl at my face. But thinking back to the afternoon's event, her mood improved dramatically. She planned to use a live stream to show the netizens what kind of absolute fool the student she considered a genius really was. The morning passed quickly. Today. Lu Shen and the others stayed completely on their best behavior. Nobody came to look for trouble with me. I received a message from the lawyer. He said that everything was in perfect order. After that, I didn't miss the chance to go thank every single member of Lu Chen's squad. In reality, it was to stab them right in the heart. Lu Chen and his squad didn't even dare to get mad. They had to suppress their rage and offer me a fake smile while telling me it was nothing. Regarding the showdown against Lu Yangxin, with Mu Wanning's approval, the principal informed the whole school that afternoon classes would be suspended to witness this match. It was a chance to learn from Professor Wu Ziwan, and everyone was looking forward to the afternoon event with impatience. The afternoon arrived quickly. Seeing all these people, Lu Yangxin had a moment of doubt, but she immediately remembered that it was Professor Xiaohe who had sent her the topic. She instantly regained all her confidence. The principal announced the rules of the match. Professor Lu Yangxin presents the problem and student Ku Qichuan solves it. The showdown is officially underway. Lu Yangxin, very sure of herself, wrote down the problem from last night, then stepped back to let me solve it. I didn't budge, stayed in my seat. He picked up the mic to speak, but Lu Yangxin cut him off, addressing me with impatience. "Student Ku Qichuan, the problem is written down. Come up on stage to solve it." I didn't get up. Instead, I asked, "Professor Lu, did you make up this problem yourself?" Lu Yangxin flinched. So could he have guessed something? She initially wanted to say that it was her problem, but seeing all these people, if she claimed the problem came from her, she was afraid of getting into trouble later on. After some thought, she finally changed her plan. She admitted straight out that it was a problem she had seen elsewhere. "It is not my own creation." "I see," I said with a knowing look. "Since it's not a problem you made up yourself, then let's solve it together like yesterday. What do you think?" "I don't know." "Perfect," replied Lu Yangxin, without losing her composure. She had memorized the solution method for a long time. That's when I approached the spot where we were supposed to solve the problem. I stood right next to Lu Yangxin. Today, before starting to solve the problem, I once again asked Lu Yangxin for confirmation. "Professor Lu, this problem that you provided, are you sure it's complete?" "Yeah, after all, you weren't the one who created it." "I'm afraid you might have copied it down wrong." "That's impossible. I couldn't have copied it wrong." Lu Yangxin immediately denied it. "What a joke. I know this problem by heart." "Okay, in that case, let the test begin." The principal placed a mobile whiteboard between the two of us, thereby blocking our field of vision. The test began. Lu Yangxin rushed to write down her resolution method. On the other side, I held my pen without moving for a long time. I put on a pensive look. Seeing this scene, Lu Yu and the others couldn't help but gloat internally. If she wins this test, not only will I lose my title of genius student, but it will also put me back in my place and force me to help the Lu family's company overcome the crisis. The events of the previous day had a considerable impact on the Lu family's company. Although the company had set up a crisis communication plan, the effect was minimal. Lu Chen, his part was full of regrets. If I lose, then my eldest sister and I will become sworn enemies. The company's problems won't be resolved, and I will forever be the outcast of the Lu family. Thus, everyone in the family will look down on me. Who would have thought that I would be so completely out of my depth this time? Students below were whispering among themselves. Professor Lu is almost done writing, and Ku Qichuan hasn't even started. Is his title as a genius student just fake news or what? Meanwhile, the school's professors remained silent without saying a word. They were all thinking about the solution to this problem. Yeah, to be honest, they couldn't do it. They didn't see how this would bring any glory to the professor anyway, for her to beat me. Lu Yangxin put down her pen. The professor stepped forward and removed the board separating us. Seeing that I hadn't written a single word, Wu Yangxin almost burst out laughing. The problems from Professor Zhou are truly living up to their reputation. It was only to be expected. She took a deep breath to calm her excitement. She said in a benevolent tone, "Student Gu Qichuan, if you can't do it, just put down your pen. No need to force yourself. You're just a student, it's no big deal to lose. In just a moment, your professor is going to properly explain all of this to you." Hearing this, I calmly put down my pen and said with a knowing air, "Professor Lu, just because you've written something doesn't mean it's right. Just because I haven't written anything doesn't mean I've lost.